Hey, welcome back to Velma's Diner. What can I get you? It's a Monday evening and we're back. Oh, I guess that's not meant to be on the screen. Give me one moment. I just set up the act and agenda card ahead of schedule so that I wouldn't have to dig them up, but let's just replace that with André, the one that we know, the one that we love. How's everyone doing? It's good to be back. We're supposed to come back, I believe, on a Wednesday evening was what was expected, but we decided to zig when you think we would zag. Again, we had a Monday night. Usually I'm out on Mondays playing Arkham with friends. Sometimes it falls apart. Again, it's a 4-player game, so not if everyone can't make it, we don't do it. So I got my Monday back, I guess, and decided why not spend Arkham night doing some Arkham, except we're going to do it here. And of course, we're continuing on our journey. We are now at the third scenario we're just about to start in the Drowned City with André Patel. So far, it's been pretty good. I do want to say last stream, I think we made some really good choices. It was really an interesting scenario as much as it's the second scenario. Still pretty interesting. We did a good job of keep away as we jumped from pocket of air to pocket of air underwater. There was like that heartbreaking realization where we think we biffed the setup. I have been corrected in the comments, and thank you to the nice person who's done that, that apparently it wasn't a setup issue. It was a comprehension issue. It turns out the glyph that we missed and the victory that we missed, their experience that we missed, was actually not due to error in setup. It looks like we set up correctly. It's just I didn't understand that one of the 3 locations at the bottom still could have been an interesting location for the story's sake. So that is what it is. It's on us, but we're no longer going to be on the track for the like. Again, I've been corrected too. I don't want to say the true ending or the best ending, but the ending that I have not seen. That's the ending we wanted to pursue with the 26 glyphs, but maybe another day. Hey, Sipping Tea Media, how's it going? More Velma's Diner. It's not even a Wednesday. It's not even a Wednesday. I want to be very clear. I'm so antsy to get back to do more Velma's Diner, not only because playing Arkham has been a lot of fun, but just like hanging out with people has been pretty fun. This channel has been growing in a really satisfying way. It's like a mixture of so many great things all at once. Glad you could join us on a Monday night. Also lost my thumbs. We eating good tonight. I hope we are. I hope we are. And we're going to start just like we have been for a while. This is going to be the last one for a minute. Maybe we should have treasured these a bit more, but we're going to do unboxing of the Carolyn Fern. This is the investigator deck. Hold on. Hero Carolyn Fern. I guess we'll see in a second. I won't pull her up right now, but this is the last of the 5 investigator decks. So far, the investigator decks have been pretty cool. It's a really nice infusion of cards that's been really appreciated. As much as they are monocolor, so your deck building options are even more limited as opposed to the 2-color investigators from the season 2 core set. But I think it's going to be good fun to figure out what the secret cards are in here. One realization that I think came across last week is that like in terms of playing solo Arkham, Seeker used to be like a pretty obvious option because Seeker classically was a bit cracked, like a bit busted. They just had all the best cards, all the best card draw. Obviously they do clue things. Then they had some surprisingly overcurred damage cards. So they could just get away with whatever. And there's even some Seekers that are pretty good at evading. So you're pretty self-sufficient. It looks like that might not be exactly the case in season 2, where the Seeker decks might actually struggle to solo because they don't have any convincing way to evade unless you are, you know, I guess an evade based Seeker. I don't think either of the Seekers we have really good evasion stats, or they can do damage. And I don't think they can do damage as much as there's going to be an interesting damage card in this pack. I've yet to open the new Gators, picked up all 5, but still making my way through the chapter 2 core box. I keep struggling to say the right things at the right time, and obviously that's not good. Either I want to call it season 2, which I think is incorrect. I think it's called chapter 2. I keep calling it season 2. Hopefully we understand that those are slightly interchangeable. And then I say like revised core set, which is not always correct because revised core set is technically the second core set. For those who are just getting into Arkham, just so that we're maximally confused. In 2016, the original core set came out. Then there was the revised core set, technically the second core set. It had just about everything that the season 1 core set had, except it had a full play set. It was a bigger box, so you didn't get just like 1 copy of a card, you got 2 copies of a card. And you also got some cards that were not in the original core set, but were in circulation already. This is the chapter 2 core set, which is, as you know, mostly entirely new. There are some reprints, of course, but it's mostly new. So yeah, that's okay. You want to look at some Carolyn Fern cards? I think Carolyn Fern was like one of the, I think there's a big chance, well, maybe she's not super suited for solo, that she is the second investigator on any team that anybody would be happy to have. Carolyn's big thing is she's got a book, she's probably got a high willpower stat, and she heals horror. And notably, she gets value when she heals horror. And I think this is the only investigator we've seen so far that is that sort of like true support class where like she actually just helps the team. I think everyone else, just kind of does their own thing and does their own thing really well. So there is like a precedent. We've seen some really strong support seeker decks. Shout out to Min. Min's one of my favorites. And just having like horror healing would be so good. Unless you're playing Survivor, then you kind of don't need it. Carolyn Fern also has appeared before. We had Carolyn Fern in, I want to say, one of the earlier cycles. I think the third cycle. I think she was in Carcosa. It's been a minute. But yeah, she was not a seeker. She was a guardian. And she specifically had a guardian trait that said that she couldn't take weapons. I'm pretty sure was a clause on the back of her. So she was one of these guardians that played really weirdly. She still cared about horror and healing, but she had a totally different play style. So it's going to be interesting to see her in yellow and see what that brings. All right, Carolyn Fern, 3 willpower. Oh, I thought it'd be way higher. 5 book is obviously very good. 1 fight, I'm in for that. 3 evade's also not bad. So she is a medic and a scholar. She's the psychologist. It says, as a reaction, after you heal 1 or more horror from an investigator or an ally asset, discover 1 clue at your location limit once per round. That's really good. A lot of the actions that you could take on your turn that just heal 1 horror, honestly, are not very good actions. Taking an action to heal 1 horror, to heal 1 damage, is not a great action in Arkham Horror. It's just not it's not very efficient. It's not very good. And so having that be attached to get a clue is now quite good. Now that's actually something you want to do. And of course, this doesn't care about Shroud. So it just like easily beats big locations, big Shroud locations. Now, in some ways, this would be really good in solo because a lot of places have 1 or 2 clues, but I think you're going to use this a bit more tactically in multiplayer to make sure there is somebody you can heal. Of course, you can heal yourself. Her Elder Sign effect is +1 heal 1 horror from an investigator at your location. That's really good because obviously the bottom will fire the top and then you get a clue if that lines up really well. Again, it's only once per round, so you have to watch out. You generally want to be firing that every round, I imagine. Our dreams are a window into the hidden truths of not just our minds, but of the universe. Hey Andy, how's it going? Checking out the stream while deck building for champions. This is one of the new investigators. This is technically, yeah, this is one of the new investigators. As much as Carolyn Fern is not a new character, she used to be a guardian back in the day, but she's all about like support and healing horror, which I mean, that's cool. So far, it's like the amount of horror healing and damage healing in this, like, it's been interesting to see how chapter 2 deals with these sort of ideas. Like in the original season, we had a card called Peter Sylvester, which is basically Alexei Saburov, but gave you a flat stat boost and just healed infinitely, like just healed horror infinitely. And so there was not a lot of decks that would go out of the way to add, like, not add horror healing. Some decks wanted to add horror healing, especially if they had good horror healing cards. But there weren't a lot of decks that I would make that were just like truly healing decks. Like sometimes you had pinch healing, but there's very few investigators that were like truly the healing class. There was a doctor, that was one of the bigger ones, and I guess Carolyn's the other one. So interesting. We'll see how this works. All right, experimental psychology. This is a unique card. 1 of per deck. Hold on. 2 cost, hand slot, good icons. Carolyn Fern deck only. Test to book. If you succeed, heal 1 horror from an investigator or ally at your location. That is really good. That's exactly what you want. You want to be able to heal every turn. Now you have 5 book to 2, so that shouldn't be too difficult. It's not guaranteed, of course, but that is, of course, heal a horror and get a clue. Now, the other thing you have to watch out for, like in Carolyn, she needs ways to take horror because of course she does. Because as soon as turn 1, if you don't take trauma, your effect is kind of blank. There was this really great card that I would say is an auto include just about every deck I played. It's kind of like a max, like min-max gamer card, but it was called In the Thick of It. It was a permanent card you could take at level 0. It's a neutral card, so everyone could take it. And it just said you get 3 XP, but you take 2 trauma, I believe. And I would take that on every investigator because I think taking 2 damage is not that big of a deal, especially when you have a really big card pool. And then starting with 3 extra XP just means you hit the ground running. That's the sort of card I would love for Carolyn, as much as it's not like a season 2 card. But yeah, just making sure you take horror is also going to be a problem that you're going to run into with Carolyn. Now, as a reaction, after you heal horror from an investigator, not an ally, but from an investigator, exhaust this, the investigator gets +2 skill value for the next skill test this round. That's kind of like the text we had on the doctor, who would actually help you if he healed you. That's really quite good. And this actually means that you have 5 willpower on this certain turn. And that's neat. It also cares about like turn ordering, if that really matters. That's pretty sick. I'm into that. Hey, Nelson, how's it going? More of Elma's Diner, and it's not Wednesday yet. No, I think we might even be back for Wednesday. And I do think part of me is getting nervous that we have to play like an 8 scenario campaign with the same character. Like at some point, is it going to be interesting? I'm hoping it always is, but I'm definitely interested to do 2 streams a week just so we can get to something else at some point. Hey, Lucas, how's it going, by the way? How's your Monday? This card's sick. For what it's worth, I guess you don't need it on turn 1. There's no good way to get your hero specific card, your investigator specific card. I like assets more than I like events. I've said this before. It's just because this will change your game plan and turn over turn, as opposed to skills or events, which really don't do that much. All right, her weakness, Unbroken Web. Put this card into your threat area. As a reaction, when you would discover any number of clues, you can choose to place that much horror on Unbroken Web instead. Then discard this card if there's 4 or more horror on it. When the game ends or you are eliminated, you earn 2 fewer experience. Oof. So we've seen this sort of thing before. This is very close to like Roland's from the original core set, where you just have to waste time getting clues. Now the horror on this, I don't think inherently matters because that's not your horror. It doesn't move to you. This doesn't have like sanity or health, so I don't know why it's horror. Just because it's it's a token. I'm not sure if that actually interacts in any interesting way. But when you discover any number of clues, place that much horror on this instead. These weaknesses that when you draw them, you earn 2 fewer experience, they're pretty bad. Because other weaknesses you can tank through and you can deal with it, like Weight on the World or Weight of the World, which is our like André Patel one. It's okay. You can end the game with it. In fact, we usually do because it's hard to get rid of at the end. These are obviously so much worse because earning 2 fewer experience, some scenarios you only make like 4 experience. That is obviously terrible. And then the worst part about these sort of cards is like once you get close to the end of the game, like imagine there's 2 turns left in the scenario and you draw this and there's not even 4 clues to clear it. Like there are a lot of board states where you can draw this and you can't clear it. Now, admittedly, with 1 clue, that's enough to clear this because you can just not pick it up over and over again because this cancels the discovery. It doesn't actually take it off the table. But like, I hate these sort of things where if you just draw them too late, that's it. There's nothing you can do about it. And this is relatively action intensive. It's going to take you at least 4 actions. You can speed that up with like things like deduction, which I'm pretty sure are reprinted in this deck. Frustration. But yeah, that's fine. That's rough. That's definitely going to be rough. I haven't seen this card, Lethal Curiosity. Sick art, very Hemlock Vale. Revelation test 4 willpower. Mind you, we only have 3. For each point you fail by, you either must take 1 damage or place one of your clues on your location. If only you could get a closer look. Ooh, that's really cool mechanics in terms of like the theme and the story here. This is like these basic weaknesses. I don't think we've actually ever seen a basic weakness that's attached to a simple test. Have we ever seen a basic weakness that's attached to just like doing a skill test? Because I don't think we have. Which means that this card is like not really a problem when it comes to certain investigators that have high willpower. They just like pass it. Now we have 6 damage, so you can take a bit of damage. You can also drop your clues, of course. I don't know if I mind this, but like 3 willpower means you are going to be failing this. And this is for each point you fail by. So when you pull the auto fail on this, it's just like you fail 4. There's no way around it. That's weird because, again, I don't know if we've ever seen a card that is just a skill test on a basic. Strange. Very, very strange. Who's this good cat? Dreamer's Chronicle. 4 cost, very expensive. Hand slot that uses 4 secrets, but it has a good cat on it. As an action, spend a secret to investigate using your intellect. The first card you commit to this investigation gains a wild. Oh, that's kind of fun. If you succeed, you may take 1 horror to discover an additional clue at your location. Whoa, okay, so do we have Fingerprint Kit already in this format? I think we do. Fingerprint Kit is in the revised core set, and for what it's worth, I did not play this when I played Joe Diamond solo, because Fingerprint Kit is a card that's better when you're playing more than 1 player, because not that many locations have 2 clues. It depends on the scenario, but as soon as you play 2 players, every location has 2 clues, so having an action that takes 2 clues for a single action is obviously a fair bit better. Now, Fingerprint Clue has less supplies, fewer supplies, and it gives you +1 book, and if you succeed, you get 2 clues. So Dreamer's Chronicle is the same cost. It has 1 more secret. It does kind of give you the +1, but only if you commit. And there's always been this sub-theme about cats and dreaming and wild icons that have showed up across Arkham Horror for a while. And then you have to take a horror to discover an additional clue at your location. Now, I'm not sure how generically playable that is, considering you always have access to Fingerprint Kit, and this still stakes up a hand slot. But again, I think that's actually going to be one of the big problems when it comes to Carolyn Fern, and she can't play any of the Mystic cards that like just give you horror. I think those still exist. That you're going to need a way to take horror, because functionally, if you do this and then you heal the horror, you get 3 clues for 2 actions. Hopefully the healing is a bit faster than that. Oh, you don't exhaust it. Oh, that's true. Yeah, I don't know if that's actually that big of a deal, but you're right. You don't exhaust it. But this card is actually difficult to do more than once on a turn because the locations might not have enough clues, let alone the horror might be a bit too much. If we had a card like Bandages, I don't know if it would work because Bandages says after invest. Oh no, Bandages, you actually take the damage. So you don't actually cancel the damage. But if you have a reactionary card that says after you take horror, heal the horror, then this gets a fair bit better. But yeah, weird card. That's an interesting side grade to that. Again, I don't know all these cards. Occult Records. This has to be Pixeloid. It is 3 cost hand slot, uses 3 secrets. I do want to say the hand slot when it comes to Seeker are really good. And one of the big issues is you're always kind of competing with Magnifying Glass. And Magnifying Glass, I'm so surprised got reprinted in chapter 2 because this is just such a boring card and it's such a good card. And a lot of cards just fail the magnifying glass test. In fact, there's a whole lot of decks, maybe with 5 book, you don't need it as much, where it's like, I'll play 1 magnifying glass and then you only have 1 extra hand slot, unless you're doing something weird. Anyway, it's fast. During your turn, spend a secret and exhaust this to heal 2 horror from an investigator location. Okay. Now, your ability fires when you remove 1 or heal 1 horror, so you're technically wasting value, but not really. Then test 2 willpower. If you fail, discard a random card from your hand. All right, we had this card in Rogue before, the card that let you get to drink. It was the flask. I forget what's its name. But it basically healed horror, and then you did a test. And if you failed the test, you discarded a card. There's another one where if you passed the test, you healed another horror. I forget exactly how they worked, but there's 2 versions that kind of changed the fail state. I mean, this is heal 6 horror in a card. That's fast. You obviously want to pass the willpower test. Who does the willpower test? You do the willpower test, right? Heal 2 horror from investigator location, then test 2 willpower if you fail. Yeah, so they're not doing it, you're doing it. Which means you're going to fail it. We have 3 willpower. How are we meant to test this? Hey, HFT, how's it going? Velma's on Monday. I usually play Arkham in person on Monday, but our group had to cancel today. So last minute, starting a bit late, I was like, yeah, I think we can do this. This seems fun. Weird card. Obviously for Carolyn, that seems nice, but that's a good slot. And I think we're just going to be discarding cards at random. Oh, it's from your hand too. It's not even the person you're healing, right? During your turn, spend a secret from this. Heal 2 horror from an investigator, then test will. If you fail, discard 1 random card from your hand. Oh, so at least you don't like grief with this, the way that you can technically grief with the old flask. Interesting. Not sold. Private practice, 1 cost asset, limited once per investigator. It's a profession. I'm not sure if that's a new subtype or not. Reaction after you heal 1 or more horror, exhaust private practice, gain a resource. Sick. Staple. Engine card. Really good. Not much to say. That's great. You probably play 2, I'm assuming, because you want to find 1 as soon as possible. But again, now you need to take horror for this to be turned on. So I'm assuming you really need to be playing your Dreamer's Chronicle as a way to get the horror consistently, because it sucks when you don't have horror because you can't fire your thing. You can't get your resources. That's great. Psychology student. 2 cost ally. 1 bad. The worst soak you could possibly have. Willpower icon. After you play Psychology student, heal 2 horror from an investigator or ally asset at your location. Again, Carolyn's text does only care if you heal 1 horror. So if you heal 2 horror, it doesn't actually fire twice. Oh, that's not her, obviously. But her text says after you heal 1 or more horror. So that doesn't actually like do that much. I don't know if you're going to get to the point where like, I want to heal 1 horror at a time, because if you heal too much horror, then they have no horror and then you can't heal horror anymore and all your horror stuff falls apart. Is that old Carolyn on the card before? I mean, this is fine. We had the medical student. I don't think medical student made it to this chapter 2. I believe she was heal 1 and 1. That's usually a bit more flexible to heal 1 and 1. I guess if you're playing with somebody who has 5 horror, like if you're playing with Daniela, you'd probably like this a fair bit. It's nice that it's like clickless horror, but like this card has nothing on it. Like the soak on it's really, really bad. Like it's obviously the very, very bad soak. So you can consider this like a 2 cost event that takes a slot that you want to use for something else. Private practice is the old Carolyn ability, basically. Oh, yeah. Her old ability was when you heal a horror, get a resource, right? And then she had her unique that made her healing a bit better. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Probably a card you have to play, but like there is a good level 0 secret card you probably want to consider. I don't know how important it is to get your book stat up when you have 5 book. All right, so translated stuff is back. So there was a whole lot of translated cards. Basically, every cycle introduced at least an untranslated or something you had to discover. These cards that functionally don't do anything or do next to nothing. They put you on a mini quest, and as soon as you solve the mini quest, you have access to all the other versions, and you can spend XP for each version you put in your deck. This is the Scroll of the Pharaohs, which from my understanding is a reimagining of the that liquid, the mixture you had to make, which was a very busted card. It was a very, very strong card and an outlier that had to get tabooed kind of consistently throughout the years. So this comes in with 4 secrets, also uses a hand slot. As an action, spend a secret and exhaust this to deal a horror to an investigator or ally asset at your location. That's not a good action. Then if there are no secrets on the Scroll of the Pharaohs, discard it, draw 3 cards, and record you have unearthed the secrets of the Pharaohs in your campaign log. Now that text has never mattered in terms of actually campaign text. It just matters because if you want to upgrade this card, you have to have done that already. Yeah, that's expensive. Like usually these things have been like time sinks, but this is time sink and a horror sink. I don't think we've ever seen these actually do harm to you. They're usually just like discard cards or do tests or lose actions, stuff like that. This one does horror to you, which I'll say like sounds really bad, but at the end of the day, if you can't do horror to somebody, you know, you're not doing anything. Now you need to just get this done, and eventually this card will be out of your deck. So there's going to be one scenario where this is going to suck, and like, you know, spending 4 actions to do 3 horror to yourself just to translate that is incredibly expensive. But you need to do horror. It's just like then the economy it's kind of busted, where it's like you do horror yourself just to heal your horror, just to get a clue, and then at the end of the day, you're just doing what a regular investigator would do. But this is something you do once, and then obviously ignore it. I'm interested to see how these upgrade. I'm pretty sure they upgrade like the alchemical concoction or whatever it was called. So hopefully somebody knows the name. That card is really good. All right, University Archivist. Another ally. Makes sense. They seem disposable. 2 cost, Miskatonic. Miskatonic is a funny disposable ally trait. You have 1 additional hand slot, which can only be used to hold a tome asset. I mean, that's good text, as much as it's going to be hard to keep the University Archivist around because she gets knocked out for by most everything. As a reaction, after University Archivist enters play, search the top 6 cards of your deck for a tome asset and add it to your hand, shuffle your deck. The original version of this from chapter 1 searched your whole deck for a tome, and it had more horror soak, I believe, but it didn't have this additional hand slot thing. This is weird because you're using your ally slot to give yourself a hand slot, so you're still kind of down a slot. I honestly think the ally slot in Seeker is like pretty good in chapter 1 because you have a way to make resources. This is nice. Search 6 is fine. I don't think we have any search synergy. There used to be a bunch of search synergy cards, which if they were searched, they did something good. Strange Solution. Thank you. That's what it was. Strange Solution is very, very good. And I think there's 4 upgrades to Strange Solution over the history of the game. Some of them came later. I don't feel strongly about this. Again, in terms of the tome assets, I think the only one we've seen so far, for what it's worth, the Scroll of Pharaohs is a tome, and the upgraded ones are almost definitely tomes too. Those are very valuable cards if you spend 4 XP on them. Occult Records is a tome, and of course, Dreamer's Chronicle is a tome. So at least you're probably going to hit on this consistently. All right, this art I like a lot. This has to be Pixelate again. 2 cost event, lovely color. Fight with your book. You get +1 book for this attack. If you control 2 or more clues, this attack deals double damage. We saw a whole bunch of events like this back in the day, like I've Got a Plan, and there was another one that basically allow you to weaponize your book stat, let alone how many clues you have, into damage. Now those I think actually could do more than 2 damage. Paying 2 to do 2 damage is like not great, but this isn't Seeker where you have access to no damage. And this is the sort of like pinch damage that will either help when you're playing at a low player count or even at high player counts, but are like probably not enough to rely on when you're playing solo, which is kind of the issue. Like you have no access to anything that does damage besides this event. And I think one of the Scroll of the Pharaohs is, but that's not terrible. It's okay. Science is a fun trait on this, but I don't think there's any science cards that interact with events specifically. Unflappable. Hey, the Arkham Horror staple. Sorry, the Marvel Champion staple. 2 cost evade. You get +2 evade for this evasion, bring us to 5. If you succeed and you control 2 or more clues, heal 1 horror. Stay calm. We'll get out of this yet. I don't recognize this artist, but that's definitely an interesting art style. Awful for scenarios that spend a lot of clues? Yes, all of these are awful for scenarios that spend a lot of clues. And there's a lot of scenarios that also punish you for holding clues. Like as soon as in the core set, season 2 core set, the second scenario punishes you heavily for holding clues. So it's not something that's like super recommended. This is also like fine. Healing 1 horror on this means it's 2 cost, evade and get a clue, which is a lot better. Of course it is. I just don't want to play slots on this. And this is the thing, is like, I don't forget the name of the ally that you can play from the chapter 2 core set. She's the one that's like the Milan Christopher reprint. She gives you resources. And I do think actually Seekers, if you build the deck in a certain way, can end up with more resources than they know what to do with. I don't know if Seeker card draw feels as good as it was. Maybe if you play Joe Diamond, it is, but Seeker card draw used to be absurdly busted back in the day. But maybe you can play just enough like mid-range expensive events that you can do something. Dorothy, thank you. Dorothy Simmons, yeah. She's like a very good ally. Man, all of these Seeker allies have no soak whatsoever. I don't know what you're meant to do about that. Hey, speaking of drawing cards and spending 2 resources, Preposterous Sketches is back. Huh, I didn't think that would happen. I feel like we got more cards like this in chapter 2. I didn't know they had to reprint this. It's just if you have a clue, or if there's a clue at your location, draw 3 cards. Now, only if there's a clue on your location. If you have that clue, I don't think that clue is on your location. It's at your location, but on your location means it has to be on the location. So if your location is empty of clues, but you have a clue, you can't play this. I haven't really played this card in chapter 1. I played a bit of it when it was like a low card pool, because this was like an early card when the game came out in 2016. So I did play this. There's reason to play this in like alternate Joe Diamond, original Joe Diamond, who could play insights cheaper, 2 cost cheaper. So this was perfect. But I haven't really played this a lot. There used to be an upgraded version of this card that just made it free, but it cost experience. I don't think it was fast, but it was free. If you have what's it called, the Drowned City, you can play this in Agatha relatively well, because she can replay insights, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, this is a card that like seems like it'd be a stable card, but Seeker just really has a need to pay an action and 2 to draw 3 cards. There's usually better ways to draw in Seeker. Maybe that's not the case in Chapter 2. We'll find out. Cycle analysis. We're on some skills. Oh, sorry, it's still an event. Wow. 2 cost book and wild. Choose an investigator at your location and reveal the top 3 cards of their deck. That investigator may choose to either draw 1 revealed card and shuffle the rest into their deck, or heal 2 horror and return the revealed cards to the top of their owner's deck in any order. Too bad you can't get Unflappable Marvel Champions until it gets a reprint. It got reprinted in the X-Men wave, but it's like such a staple card. But yeah, it did get reprinted, I think, in the last year or so, maybe a bit more than that. That's weird, huh? Hey, Katerian, yeah, Monday treat for the diner. Welcome. Hopefully you've been well. I said we would be streaming at weird times, and yeah, Monday's usually Arkham in person, but we got the evening back tonight. So this is 2 cost, look at 3, draw 1, shuffle. I mean, that's not amazing. That's okay. But that's not amazing. There was a 1 experience card kind of like this in the Drowned City, I feel like, but it wasn't exactly a draw card. It was just like everyone draws 1 and plays a card. That card's absurd. If you play 2 cost to heal 2 horror and then arrange the top of your deck, like, I don't know. I don't feel like any side of this is that exciting, but maybe the fact is that you have a choice. At the end of the day, this is 2 cost, get a clue, rearrange the top 3 of your deck. I don't think I would play that. Now, it does heal 2 horror, right? So it's not just get a clue, but that's weird. I'm not a fan of sketches when the gather intel is right there and it's an incredible card either. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I mean. Vicetron, how's it going? It's like Seeker doesn't struggle to draw cards. And like Proposter Sketches already felt like a kind of an old design back in, original core set. And now it's in this core set, and it does kind of stick out as like, oh, I thought it would be more interesting than this. Any standouts from the Carolyn deck I missed? So far, not so much, but this mostly staple cards. It looks like a lot of these cards are relatively contained within what Carolyn wants to do. Like Dreamer's Chronicle is really cool. It's a fingerprint kit, but you have to take a horror. That probably is only playable in Carolyn. There is a card that says whenever you heal horror, or sorry, once per turn when you heal horror, gain a resource. That's probably only Carolyn as well. Scroll of the Pharaohs is probably the most universally playable card. And then there's like the Tome card, which I'm not convinced is worth an ally slot. And then I don't know, like Caustic Reaction is a little attack you can put in your Seeker deck. Unflappable is reprinted in Rogue's deck, but she's out of print. Oh yeah, so it's been a minute, hasn't it? That sucks. Proxy it. The card's good. Hey Bebix, how's it going? Good evening. Yeah, I don't know. So far it's been okay. A lot of these do seem contained to Carolyn. De-escalate, 1 cost parlay. We've seen way more parlay in early chapter 2 than we've seen in such a long time in the season 1 or chapter 1, and that's fine. I think they're realizing parlay is an interesting thing. 1 cost event with 2 willpower icons. Choose an enemy or location. Heal horror equal the enemy's horror value. I mean, okay, usually this is only a heal for 2 horror. This doesn't have an elite clause that you can talk to the boss and the boss can heal 3 horror. This is an action and a card to heal 1 or 2 horror situationally based off of board state. It's probably not worth a slot. Like, in Carolyn, I could see you just need enough horror healing. But if you open up with your experimental psychology, I'm not sure why you need to play any other cards that heal horror. I don't know. I honestly don't know about this. Like, this is conditional on top of conditional. At the end of the day, it's not fast. Like, if this card was fast, I'm in. I'm not sure it is. Insidious Truths. 2 cost event. Insight and Cursed. What? We can use the curse subtype on a card that doesn't give you curses? Are you allowed to do that? This art's quite nice, though. As an additional cost to play Insidious Truth, you must discard up to 2 cards from your hand. Fight with your fist. For each card discarded as this cost, you get +2 fight and deal 1 damage for this attack. So you can play this and discard 2 other cards, and you can do, you can do 4 damage? I mean, that's pretty good. It's expensive. And this is the sort of like idea why Seeker has all these cards. And maybe we need Proposter Sketches to fire this, but this is the best damage we've seen in Seeker. It's really, really expensive. Mind you, Joe Diamond draws cards all the time. But this is expensive, but this is like, yeah, 3 damage, right? I might like Truth and Joe. Which is Truth? Oh, this? Yeah, I could see wanting to play this in Joe. Yeah. For each card discarded as a part of this, so this does +2 damage, not +3, yeah. 2 discards is +2 damage. Yo, how's it going, Gemaluda? Yeah, so it's 3 damage total, not a 4 damage attack. That's still really good. Because that can still be one action for most mid-range creatures or monsters. That's not bad. Carolyn has only 1 fist? Oh shit, actually no, in Carolyn that's pretty bad. You only go up to 5. That's not enough. That is not enough. You're right, she has 1 fight, but yeah, that is just simply not enough. I would not be happy attacking a 4 fight or a 3 fight creature at 5. So let's hope that we have wild icons, because that is a problem. It's deduction again. I'll be honest, I don't love, like, these cards are really important and they're staple cards, like, so that's important. But like, so far I haven't liked that these two products that come out so close to one another have reprints. And like staple reprints, at least that's kind of good. If you want to do deck building with like a single collection for more players at a table, like that maybe is good. That's not a problem I'm running into modernly. But yeah, it's annoying that there's like, here's another 1911, here's more deductions, here's more vicious blows. It's like, I just bought the core set. All right, it's good to see this finally in person, but you might have seen this art before. They have said that this was a mistake and they will fix this in a future printing. But whatever Joe Diamond's unique card is, I don't remember the name of it, has this art on it. This is the actual artist, Pixeloid Studios. I don't know who's credited on the original card, but this is the correct art for this. And Joe Diamond just has the wrong art. It's a mistake. It's probably a bit embarrassing. I don't love it. I hope that they actually send out those cards to replace them. I think that'd be pretty solid. They actually have done that back in the day, but I imagine Asmodee has to like cut a bunch of corners because the way things are for many different reasons. But like back in the day when they did like misprints, like some locations had the wrong things at the top, they actually would send them to you if you emailed them in. So I don't know if they're going to do that. I'd really hope they did, but they would, but that's for the future to determine. Anyways, skill with wild. The skill test is successful. The performing investigator searches the top 6 cards of their deck for an insight event, draws it, and shuffles their deck. That's good. You have to have enough insights for this to be good. The cool thing is that it's a performing investigator, so you can do this and understand like, oh, how many insight events are they playing in? Like most of the insight events for my like, you know, napkin math have to be Seeker. So you probably want to play it on Seeker. One of my friends in the Arkham group I've been playing with for a decade, his favorite card is Eureka. There's no deck that he won't put a Eureka in. And I don't know if this is the modern Eureka. I don't know if Eureka will get reprinted. It's like not a very flashy card, but Eureka has like a wild, a mental, and maybe like a book. And it says, if you succeed, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, draw 1, shuffle. And that card is just very, very good. This is obviously, you know, look at 6, draw card is good. Very important to know that you can always play manual dexterity or perception, and you can just draw a card anyways. Obviously, the idea is that looking at 6 and drawing the right insight card for the right job, especially if you need to find horror healing, is better. But like, I just want to be very clear. If you're new to this game and you look at perception and think like, oh, it's a basic card, I should cut that out. No. Basic card, real good. Perception, really, really good. Literary analysis. 2 books, skill. If the skill test is successful, replenish a secret on a tome asset at your location. That's solid. That's actually really quite solid. We've never seen a card that's this easy at 0 XP to refill tome assets. The question is like how many tome assets this is going to hit. It's a secret on a tome as well, so it's a bit more limited. Fingerprint kit probably doesn't use secret. It uses supplies. It's also not a tome, but all the cards in here that use secrets are tomes. So like the Dreamer's Chronicle, the occult thing, and it has 2 book on it. So you're just basically saying you'd rather not have the 3rd perception. You'd rather have this and get a secret. And I could see that. Seems fine. Yo, they did it. I don't get it. I don't know why they did this. Why did they reprint Magnifying Glass? And why did they reprint Magnifying Glass 1? Let me tell you about something. Magnifying Glass 1 is the least interesting upgrade you could possibly imagine in Arkham Horror. All it does is it gives you 1 clue reduction. Okay, now there's text on it, and this text is actually infuriating because this text doesn't matter. I've played Magnifying Glass 1 in so many decks for the last 10 years, and this text I have fired vanishingly few times. Very, very few times, because again, you generally don't put that many hand slot stuff in your deck, and Magnifying Glass, yeah, you pull it back to your hand in the late game when you don't need it, when your stats are like boosted very, very heavily. That can matter. But my biggest issue with this card is that it puts a soft limit. They can never print a card that like gains a charge every time that you install an asset. It has to exhaust, right? Because we have a single card that can infinitely replay itself, right? So you can never have synergy pieces that say every time that you like install a card or play a card, put a counter on this, get a resource, draw a card. Like you're so limited by the fact that you have a single card that is an infinite install engine. And I don't know why this game has an infinite install engine for no reason. You can just keep doing this. You can infinitely do this. And like, obviously there's no reason to do that, but they have to be very careful for the future of the game to not print cards that get benefit for you infinitely doing this. It's like, just, it doesn't need to exist. It's going to cause problems. And it's not actually an ability that's worth anything. Anyways, thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Unflappable 1. So you get +3 evade for this evasion. If you succeed, heal 2 horror from among cards you control. So you get another icon on this. You get +1 foot and you heal. Ooh, the reveal. It doesn't care about clues and you heal 2 horror. That's a lot better for 1 XP. That's a lot better for 1 XP. That puts us at 6 evade. That's a very reasonable 1 XP spend if you're playing the original card. Even if you're not, like, I don't love the original card. This card is fine for 1 XP. Seems good. Ooh, typewriter. Typewriter 2 uses 3 secrets. It's not a tome, it's a tool. It's slotless. That's kind of fun. If there are no secrets on typewriter, you have to discard it. You don't often see that text. Secrets on typewriter may be spent as if they were on tome assets you control. You must record your findings even if nobody believes you. Alan Wake. I can't tell how good this is. And usually any of the like convoluted engines that you could play in chapter 1 that had like, you know, Twine of Ariande. I don't know actually what that name of the card is, where you could like move secrets and you can move stuff around for value. I never played those decks and I never understood the value of them. If 3 secrets are good, the question is it worth an asset that's 2 experience and you have to spend an action playing it for 2 cost? I don't know. I guess we'll see. So far, I'm imagining this will be better with high experience cards. So we'll just watch out for any card that has high experience that uses secrets. But it's at least takes no actions besides putting it, which is it's an action, but it doesn't like, yeah, it's not like you can only move 1 per turn, stuff like that. We've seen stuff like that before. Cost of reaction, 2 XP. Fight, you get +2 and deal 1 damage for this attack. If you succeed and you control 2 or more clues, this does 2 damage instead, not on top of it, but instead. So this is a 3 damage attack for 2 experience. The other one, you get +1 for this attack and does +1 damage. Yeah, why is this in her deck? Like, she has 1 fight. Oh, because it uses book. Never mind. Oh, she uses book. This is fine. So she doesn't need to get the +2 book, but now this just basically does an extra damage, right? Because caustic reaction 1 does +1 damage. This does always +1 damage. It can do +2 damage. For 2 XP, that's like maybe expensive. This is the sort of card that I would upgrade quickly if I'm playing solo just to get a bit more damage in it. And it's a tactic. There's no way to recur those, but if you're playing Agatha, if it's an insight, you could, but you can't, but that's fine. I wish Gloria could take typewriter. She's the writer. I think she's even uses a typewriter in a bunch of her art. Hypnotize. Ooh, that's a really cool theme. 2 cost event, will, book, and wild. Parlay. You get +2 book for this parlay. Choose a non-elite enemy at your location. This test's difficulty is equal to that enemy's remaining health. If you succeed, shuffle that enemy into the encounter deck. That's really fun. That you just kind of get rid of something. Now, there are some enemies that like defeating them is a problem. Now, I'm not sure you want to use this on a bystander because there's ways to deal with bystander, at least in chapter 2 core set. But if we see more doomed on top of cards like this will get a fair bit better. Unfortunately, this is the only doomed card we've ever seen so far, but that actually gets a lot better. This is also a card that allows you to do enemy management as much as it pushes it down the line. But having 7 book, like even the enemies at full health, that shouldn't be an issue. Of course, you can't deal with bosses, but like maybe this is expensive in terms of XP. I don't know how you meant to spend your XP in Seeker in chapter 2, but that is just a get out of jail free button. And it doesn't do attacker's opportunity and it targets aloof characters. Like there's a lot of value in that for sure. Not bad. All right, deduction 2 is back. I'm imagining this is no different. So than when we saw in chapter 1, this card is a staple specifically if you're playing 3 or 4 player count. At 2 player count, it's still really good because there are locations with 4 clues on it. So it says has 2 books instead of 1. If you succeed, discover a clue. If you succeed by 2 or more, discover 2 additional clues. And that's a big reason why magnifying glass and like what's her name? That basic ally, I can never remember the name of, Dorothy Simmons. Why just like stat boosting is always going to be good. Because you have cards like this. Autopsy report. This game has been around for so long, and they can still come up with like relatively good nouns for cards. Like we haven't seen typewriter yet. It's been 10 years. We haven't seen autopsy report. It's been 10 years. It's kind of funny how that is. You think they would have tread all this sort of ideas for items. That's pretty sick. 3 cost, 3 experience has just a handful of icons. Reaction uses the hand slot. After an enemy or your location is defeated, you can exhaust autopsy report to investigate. You get +X book for the investigation, where X is the defeated enemy's printed health to a maximum of 5. Neat. So like the boost on the book thing doesn't seem to matter because we have 5 book, but it's more so that this gives you a bunch of free investigates as long as enemies are dying, right? Like we've seen a lot of cards that just say like when this thing gets hurt, get a clue or something like that, right? Like we've seen that where you attach damage to clue finding or clue finding to killing something, like Roland from the original core set. This is functionally Roland with a lot more steps with a slot. Now, it would be cool if you put this on somebody who didn't have high books, but all the seekers that we have in chapter 2 have 4 or 5 book, if I'm not mistaken. So like the book boost doesn't seem super important. So the question is like, do you spend 3 XP in a hand slot to get a couple clues? And this card's also probably a lot better when you play multiplayer, because in multiplayer, you have way more agency of there being an enemy on the table, let alone you being at that location. It does exhaust, so I guess you have to figure out where the middle point is, where like if you defeat 2 enemies in a turn, it gets a bit worse, but maybe your like evasion character can kind of deal with that and make a bit more sense. Weird card, neat, seems a bit expensive, but not bad. All right, we get our starter card. So Sharp Rhetoric. I have played this one a bit, and that's because giving yourself willpower can matter during the Mythos phase. Giving yourself book stats for the Seekers we have doesn't really matter. Your intellect doesn't really need to increase from what I've played so far. This is, of course, the same thing, but it's starting. So after you mulligan, if this is in your deck, you can search for one starting card. I haven't spent experience on a starting card yet, but abstractly, I can see it being worth it because it's just an extra card in your hand, and it has icons. Like you can just commit it even if you don't play it. We got a better psychoanalysis. Psychoanalysis 3, one at a time. Each investigator location reveals the top 3 cards of their deck, draws one of those cards, shuffles the remaining cards in the deck, and heals 2 horror. That's a lot better. Everybody does that is incredible. Oh man, everyone's gonna be so happy when you play this. Yeah, I like that a lot better. It's 3 experience, but it's like kind of weird how it fires Carolyn's ability once. But everybody looking at the top 3, drawing their best card, healing 2 horror. I mean, everyone's gonna be really happy if you play that. Yeah, I don't think you want 2 in your deck because this is a thing that you fire once probably, but like, yeah, I mean, I get why that's good. Just wondering, does your gaming group play Cthulhu Death May Die? No. I know what the game is. I think it's like a big miniatures game, but no, I have not played that. Why do you ask, by the way? All right, welcome to the scrolls. So these are the things that you can translate. Again, to translate them, you have to install your thing. You have to take 3 more actions to deal horror to somebody at your location. And then each of these is still for experience. Now, you don't have to get the same one. You can get 2 different ones. Your deck can only have 2 Scroll of Pharaohs, but once you have it, you can just research either of these or any of these. So this is the words of Bast. I wish I could tell you who Bast is in terms of the Egyptian pantheon or what they're the god of. I'm not 100% sure. It's interesting to see hieroglyphics, and at the bottom, it's actually just like a Lovecraftian horror of some sort. So Handslot, as an action, take a horror. I think they all have that, and that's like an interesting way to make that strange solution feel like it has a bit more cost, and it actually feels like you're dealing with the arcane. I like that a lot. And again, that sort of effect to take horror is going to be really important for Carolyn, because if you don't take horror, her text doesn't matter. So take a horror and spend 1 or 2 secrets. This is also a tome, so you might want to use your typewriter on this. For each secret you spend as part of the ability cost, reveal 3 cards from the top of the encounter deck. Choose and discard 1 non-peril, non-elite card among them and return the rest to the top of the encounter deck in any order. I would not spend 4 experience for that and multiple actions and multiple horror. Gloria, I don't think can take this. Gloria is the one investigator we've ever seen that cares about knowing the top of the deck. Technically, knowing the top of the deck is valuable because if you're not good at enemies or certain encounter cards, you can like get rid of them. But yeah, that's a lot of experience for that effect. I'm generally not that excited about manipulating the encounter deck unless you have direct payoffs, and Seeker currently doesn't have any direct payoffs. So I'm going to pass on that one, but that's okay. Words of Ra. Ra is the sun god. I do know that one. So again, 4 secrets as an action, take a horror and spend 1 or 2 secrets to fight. You get +3 fight for this, +3 intellect. Mind you, you fight with your intellect. If you succeed, this attack deals +1 damage for each secret you spent as part of this ability's cost. Now, the strange solution that did damage was like busted. It was like an attack for 3 and you had like 6 of them or something. It was really, really good. This is not that good. This is 4 attacks for 2 damage. So it's like functionally an M1911, but it does give you 3 book. So you're already at 8. That's really, really good. It's also flexible, but technically, like if you use multiple charges, you're doing 1 action for 3 as opposed to 2 actions for 2 each, which means you get less damage overall, but it is more efficient in terms of actions. And sometimes that's the most important thing. I imagine one of these in your hand makes you feel good, like you are safe and you can just one-shot a lot of mid-range things. This also technically is a boss killer when you play solo. So like, I think in solo, there's a lot of value for playing this. But yeah, that's way more muted than I thought it would be. Again, it's a lot of loopholes, a lot of like hoops you have to jump through to get this. Interesting. Scroll of Pharaohs, words of set. I think they all have the same icons. Yeah. So as an action, take a horror, spend 1 or 2 secrets, investigate. You get +3 intellect for this investigation. If you succeed, discover an additional clue at your location for each secret you spend as part of this ability cost. Huh? Really? So I take a bunch of horror. I play this. I give myself +3 book, which doesn't really matter. I should have 6 book. I have magnifying glass +5. So it brings me to 8. I mean, okay. And then if I use a charge, I get 2 clues. How is this different than the 0 XP version of the card? Wait, how is this different than... Oh, that's bad. Some of them are gone now. How is that better than Dreamer's Chronicles? It's the same text. It's obviously a bit better because +3 book and you can use 2 charges for more clues. But it's functionally very close to Dreamer's Chronicles and Magnifying Glass. Or, sorry, Fingerprint Kit. I guess it's the new way for Seekers to deal with enemy. Chapter 1, they did everything better than anyone else. No wonder the Necronomicon was banned. Yeah, no, they were busted. Like, Seeker was like the class that just got nonsense cards. And like, whatever you thought the color pie was, they just could do everything and a bit more. So it's nice that some of these cards are getting reined in. But I'm surprised when a card like this is not that good compared to a Seeker. Like, there's Seeker cards at level 0 that do something. I wouldn't say it's obviously the same, but like comparable. Okay. Commune with the Cosmos. This is our last card. 5 experience. We don't have that many of these in the game. 2 cost event. We've had some really cool 5 experience Seeker cards. When you play this, you may take up to 3 horror. Investigate with your book. You get +2 intellect for this investigation. If you succeed, discover X additional clues at your location, where X is the amount of horror on you to a maximum of 4 additional clues. So this can spend an action to get 5 clues as long as you're hurt with horror. And you can obviously take horror for this, so it shouldn't be a problem. It's a bit weird with Carolyn because I'm assuming Carolyn wants to be like healing horror on tempo. So it's not like you're going to draw this and immediately be in a good spot to play this, because you do want to play this when you have, 4 horror on you, as much as playing this to take horror is kind of fine. This is only your location. So like, this is a card that's probably only going to be great at 3+ players, because 5 clues is not something that shows up on a single location when you play 2 players. So you're going to waste some value. Now that's fine. You can waste some value on this, but at 3 or 4 players is where this is probably going to get interesting. I don't think we have any busted way to get a lot of clues at once. Like the closest is technically Words of Set, where you can get 3 clues for a single action. So there's some value there, but you can only do that twice. But we used to have like a translated card that allowed you to like get clues based off of what you succeeded by, divided by 2. And so you can make builds that, got all clues on a 4 like a 16 clue location. You could do some ridiculous stuff. Let's just say that. Interesting. I can't tell what to do with this thing. It's like, are Seekers bad at getting clues with click compression? How much better is this than Deduction 2? Wish this card was an insight. Yeah, it's a spell. A spell you can replay with Agatha if you play the right Agatha, but I think the right Agatha can't play this. Oh no, I think when you play any Agatha, you can choose whether it's insight or spell, right? Or is it always yellow as insight, blue as purple as spell? All right, that is the cards. Honestly, strange. It feels like the sort of, I wouldn't even call it power creep, but the power level of expected power level of Seeker cards is not here. A lot of these cards are, playing the same kind of tune where it's like get clues, heal horror. I mean, you're expecting that. And so there's a couple of these cards that can be just like generically playable in Seekers or Joe or like, off Seeker stuff. But a lot of these are like very much Carolyn cards. I think out of the XP cards, some of them are on the floor, so I'm not gonna be able to show them right now. The Scroll of Pharaohs, I'm not super excited to run out and translate. I don't know. Deduction 2 is obviously sick. Hypnotize is an interesting card. Caustic Reaction is like a nice pinch card for damage if you can't play damage. But yeah, I don't know. I think I definitely want to play Carolyn because I have no doubt like that's gonna be a fun role play where like you get to do the sort of horror healing while also like keeping tempo. That's not something we've really seen before, as much as getting a resource on old Carolyn. So she's going to feel like a support class, but there's actually not that many tools to support the sort of like min way where you can actually just help people. This is just like heal people. I asked it because your group looks like they're into Lovecraftian themes since you guys are playing for 10 years and Death May Die seems like one of the best games for that genre. Oh yeah, okay. No, yeah, I haven't played it. I know that game is like very expensive and big, right? It's like a miniatures game. I think horror is going to be the new cost to read the books on Seekers, and damage will be the new norm for mystics to fire their spells. I'm cool with that. I'd actually be really cool with that if like there was a higher cost to touch the arcane. Because that's kind of how this is like in a lot of other Arkham horror games. Like if you play Mansions of Madness, basically every spell you do, after you fire the spell, you have to flip the card over and read the back, and usually something bad happens to you. It's like the arcane is truly arcane, and they come with high costs. And I wouldn't mind that. It's like also how Guardian is now all about like, taking hits for people, and like a lot of their cards you have to get attacked to do them. I don't think I mind that change. I think it's actually a lot more interesting, and it encourages you to interact with like more parts of the card game. So now like healing matters, tanking matters. You know what I mean? So I'm into that. If that is like a focus change. Let me just move the chair carefully so I don't ride over any cards. Give me 1 second. Neat. I think out of the 5, this is probably the one that I'm the least hype about. The other investigators are really cool. I think Carolyn's probably fine. 5 book stat, can't go wrong. The question is whether the secret card pool is really interesting right now. I don't know. Hey, Joel, how's it going? Today isn't Wednesday. It's not, but you're just in time. It's 9:30. We have some time. We're going to play this third scenario here. I said I would set it up ahead of time, but the setup is actually relatively simple. We can't mess this one up. So just so we're on the same page. Firstly, huge success. I found mini André Patel. He was there the whole time. Am I still zoomed in? Hold on, that's the wrong button. Yeah, of course I am. I found André Patel. He was just under a whole bunch of clear sleeves. Apparently put enough clear sleeves on something, it disappears. Our deck, just so we're on the same page in terms of what we upgraded, I think we upgraded another copy of Out the Door. And then I think we upgraded something really boring. I think we upgraded the other Sudden Fall. So like the cards are good. We've actually really appreciated having a Sudden Fall that just does a whole bunch of damage. A 3 damage attack is good because we don't have consistent damage. And a lot of the enemies have 3 health or more. Like there's no small enemies we've seen so far. So that's going to be good. And then we just got another Out the Door, which eventually will have enough stuff or enough money to consistently play the big money archetype, which seems well supported in chapter 2 so far. So we're going to get there. But from part 1, it's establish your economy. Part 2 is revel in your economy. Good time. My computer is still running a disk repair. Out of principle or out of necessity? I don't know why people do disk repairs. Okay, so here we are. We're going to go deeper into the Drowned Quarry. So we decided there was 2 paths on the road. Either we could go to the Drowned Quarter or we could go to the apiary. This is the one that's a bit more like side quest coded. So we've decided to go in here. And it looks like this place is a kind of an underwater dome where there's air in it, but the water isn't coming through. So the water is like suspended over us. And we're going to try and investigate why that is. And we're going to enter the Drowned Quarter. Remember when Backstab, a 0 level event, did 3 damage? Good times. Yeah, I was trying to think of those cards as Backstab, and there was another one that I can never remember the name of, but they were pretty good. They were conditional. I think Backstab had to be evaded, but that was like felt very rogue at the time. And they even had an upgraded Backstab that was still like pretty wacky. All right, the sound of crackling electricity greets you as you enter the undersea dome. Flooded trenches and crumbling ruins cover the round plaza on the seafloor. Try as you might, your eyes keep drifting in the ocean beyond the alien barrier. A bloom of jellyfish floats dreamily through the tenuous depths. I should hold on. I don't know why I'm reading off this screen. I can just read it off of here. This is so much easier. If the energy field were to disappear for any reason, the expedition would surely be swept away. So check your campaign log. We have headed west, so we have to go to the west side, or the west path. I think this is the source. Andy points to the round structure in the center of the plaza. Bolts of electricity lick the shimmering bubble above. The structure is the source of the glow, and presumably the energy field protecting these ruins from the ocean water. Inside, you find a spinning orrery, a complex mechanism of hovering spheres and whirring gears that stir a constant electric current. Locked at its core is an incandescent orb. Andy fidgets nervously. It's powering the machine. I don't know what will happen if we take it, but it looks like something Mr. Tillinghast would want. Before he can object, he sets to operating the ancient controls. There may be a way to remove the orb without drowning. And then asks if an investigator has the task, no place like home. If you do, you read a thing, you make a choice. We don't have that task. We have prove your worth. So we're going to continue on to the setup. Now, the setup is really straightforward. In fact, you can't mess it up. But I want to show you something here that I put together, and we'll have all of these at some point. But in terms of the setup, we gather all of these cards. So this is the thing I've been doing for Marvel Champions, and I made these. So we have a button here to show you all the encounter cards that are in the set. So the Drowned Quarter just has 3 enemies. They're relatively big. Alien Machinery, a really weird set. This is maybe going a bit fast. Cosmic Legacy, just 4 treacheries. Whether this chart should have a kind of an ability of our understanding what sort of tests were being tested. Deep Ones is a bunch of enemies. We dealt with them before. Elder Mist is a bunch of extra treacheries. Flood, also just treacheries. And we hadn't encountered those at all in our last scenario. I think really is mostly book and evade. And then finally with the undersea creatures, which has 1 voltaic eel that's worth victory. Now, a lot of those cards we did actually have in the last encounter set in the last thing that we played. However, that deck was so big. And I want to say that today too. The deck that we're playing in the counter deck, it's massive. And as a solo player, like you barely see all of it. Like the deck is this big. Like we're going to be playing 13 turns. Like we're going to draw this many cards. And in the last scenario, there's a whole bunch of encounter cards that just say like, oh, increase the flood level of your location. Something happens, right? And the last scenario, we barely interacted with the flood level. We just cleared it immediately. And we just did not see any of the cool encounter cards that did something with the flood level. So hopefully we'll see them here because this scenario really cares about the flood level. Hey Eric, how's it going? Look at this applause. Thank you. Those went a bit fast. I need to slow them down a fair bit. Your work on the stream overlay is impressive. Thank you, Sipping. Appreciate it. Sneak attack needed to be evaded. Backstab was only a foot test. Oh my God. Yeah, you're right. Okay, wild. Okay, so it says put the barrier core into play in active side face up. I'm just going to do this behind the camera really quickly. Everything else is relatively set up. The barrier core. Why don't you just show me where the barrier core is? Found it. So it's on the inactive side face up. Then we're going to, hold on, I'm just going to put this away. Do you want to read this? Chat, let me know. Do you want to see this on the screen or do you want me to read it from the book? Because obviously you can't see the table at the same time as I'm doing it. And if I read it from the book, I'm less likely to mess it up. So it says, gather each seafloor location and remove 1 copy of Coral Reef and 1 copy of Drowned Apocalypse from the game. Cool. So we have Coral Reef, Drowned Apocalypse. That's the one. Acropolis, excuse me. Coral Reef and Drowned Acropolis. Okay, so we're going to randomly remove one of these from the game. We'll just do even, odd, so even on left. So we'll get rid of the even one, I guess. And then the same thing, these are 2 copies of Drowned Acropolis. Notice how he's paying a lot of attention to make sure he doesn't mess this up. This is the one we'll remove, even, odd, even. Okay, these are gone. Next. Shuffle the 8 remaining seafloor locations together and put them into play in a 3x3 grid around this thing. The locations are totally random. And so we're basically just making an array. It's a 3x3. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 all around this barrier core. This barrier core is in the middle, starts on the inactive side. It's going to have 1 clue on it. And we basically have to interact with that core. Watching your stream makes me want to play Arkham Horror so bad. I mean, Beepix, you can. It's you gotta pick up a revised core set or a season 2 core set, excuse me, or original core set, whatever you can at that point. Mind you, you can play online in certain places if you want. You can find it, but that game's pretty good. I've been playing it for 10 years for a reason. All right, so we're just gonna put these in some sort of random order. Now, locations are connected orthogonally, so I'm not gonna put any connections out here. But basically, everything's connected to everything above and to the left and right and below. There is no adjacency on diagonals, so we're just gonna be popping around with that in mind. I think we have to spread this out a wee bit. And I think that should be enough table space for us. Man, as soon as it's a grid and then it's slightly off on camera, it looks terrible. Okay, so far so good on the setup. So shuffle the 8 remaining. Each investigator begins play at the barrier core. So we're in the middle. We'll read that text in a second. Technically, you're meant to mulligan first, but because I played this scenario once, I don't get the mulligan rules. We'll do it after. Okay, set these 3 cards aside out of play. The double-sided Undersea Parasite, Obsidian Relic, they're out of play. That's good. And the Barrier Node is story asset outside of play. Now we get to choose an artifact, and that's mostly it. After we choose an artifact, it says add the flood tokens to the token pool and check your campaign log. If the expedition headed east, you add a bunch of flood levels. That is because if you head east, you find this later in your progress, in your journey. So your deck should be better, so it's a bit harder. That's a bit of the balancing mechanism. So we'll have the easier version of the Drowned City or the Drowned Quarter because we went west, so we don't have to do anything. Shuffle the remaining encounter cards to build the deck. You're ready to begin. And again, this is the size of the encounter deck. What are we meant to do? There's 1 voltaic eel in here that's worth experience. It's nonsense. It's less of a problem when you play multiplayer because you draw multiple encounter cards every turn, but yeah, very, very weird. All right, we'll give this a shuffle. We'll remember our artifact and we're off. All right, this scenario is relatively straightforward. I would say one thing that kind of Drowned City, the way that it works is a lot of the scenarios are mechanics first. Maybe you could say theme first to some extent, but the idea is like each scenario kind of has a little thing going on. So we had the scenario where you kind of dive. That's fine. It was for scenario 2. I think it makes a fair bit of sense. This scenario is about these locations, and we're gonna have to flood and unflood them, and that's it. Again, I'm not going to spoil what the other scenarios are, but they basically have one kind of simple hook like that, where it's like, oh, it's all about a X thing. And so they're relatively straightforward. One of the downsides is like, they don't really change up. So like what we're doing on turn 1 is almost the exact same thing we're doing on turn 12. They don't really change it much. Again, we have one act, like it is going to be the same thing for a long time. But still, yeah, they're good. They're just like very kind of, they feel like dungeons. Like they feel like playing more so like playing Gloomhaven. We're like, oh, this is what this Gloomhaven dungeon is about. And then you just do that dungeon. It feels very dungeon crawlery at Drowned City, which some people might really enjoy that. I think that's the thing too, is like our story choices don't really matter as you kind of crawl around this area. So that also does make them feel like kind of, you know, separate dungeons, very separated. All right, it's probably enough shuffling. We'll do 3 more. 1, 2, 3, and a cut. Okay, so our artifact choices, they're the same. Technically, at some point, you will unlock a relic if you've done a good job, and the relics will enter your artifact pool, and then you can choose them. So we have the same artifacts we had last time. So just to divide them into 2 categories. Firstly, we have the diving suit. And honestly, I hate to be that guy, but the diving suit's really good. It's diving suit. And diving suit gives you 3 extra physical damage and allows you to ignore flood tokens. We know flood's going to be part of the scenario. I know flood's part of the scenario. I've played it before, and not having to deal with flood is really important because you don't have to worry about any card that interacts with flood. And we know a bunch of the cards and the counters that are flood based cards, let alone can increase the flood level. I don't know if this has the you drown text on the act or the agenda. I assume it does, but like the problem with this is like we don't start flooded. So like maybe we lose this to damage before it matters because our first 3 damage will just destroy our diving suit. But diving suit is just like such a good card. Even just giving us 3 more health is very much a worthy effect, considering we only have 6 damage, we can't heal, and all we have is 2 allies. Like, so that already is very good. Now the other ones are expedition gear. It's fine. It's okay. It allows us to heal damage as much as it's an action to heal a damage, which is a lot worse than just getting the 3 damage for no actions, as much as this also is slotless. And then you can remove this at any point to make a non-elite enemy or location or connecting location move, which there's some value to that. Laudanum is the similar version, but for horror, and this allows you to just discard a treachery or power or terror. I mean, that's okay. Alien tablet is something we actually could have used in the last scenario, let's be honest. The diving suit was actually good for damage. It didn't actually matter for its text. But the alien tablet's actually not bad because we don't want to be failing skill tests, and this gives us +2 to glyphs or Aurelia challenges or tests, and those are usually willpower or book tests, and we're not very good at willpower. All that being said, like I'm pretty sure we take the diving suit. We'll see if we're wrong. Does anybody in chat have like a really strong opinion about that? But I'm pretty sure we're going to just take the diving suit if the diving suit matters and flood matters. And even if not, excuse me, if there's 3 damage soak, we take 3 damage soak. I'm sorry, I'm boring. All right, of course, our hero. We're André Patel, just so we're on the same page. We have 1 mental trauma, so we do start at 6 instead of 7. And if we ever succeed once per round on our turn by more than 2, we get another action. And I think we've been taking 4 action turns on every single turn we had so far this game. The most important turn is turn 1, because turn 1, if we don't find our lockpicks, we're not that easy to fire Andre's text. But again, I think we've taken 4 turns on every turn so far that we have. Just about every turn, yeah, I think. Prove your worth. This is our task. It's pretty rough. This is going to be a bad thing. Make sure I don't forget about this. But it comes in with 4 chances. And after we fail a skill test by 2 or more, we have to remove a chance. And if the scenario is over, if this has at least a chance on it, we have passed our task. So far, we have 1 task progress. So it's hard though. And we actually are making some pretty dicey checks against this thing because we don't have the best stats. Everything else, we just shuffle up. This is our whole deck. Yeah, nothing to it. We have Andy Van Nortwick in our deck, who is just the worst. Do not care for that guy. When you start with a trauma, if you heal, can it remove the trauma for the scenario? Technically, trauma is not tracked in any way different than damage. It's just functionally as if you started with damage. If we heal that damage, we still start next scenario with 1 trauma. So there are cards that uniquely say remove trauma, and that I believe also heals you, but it means you won't start next scenario. So we are allowed to heal from 6 to 7, but next scenario will still start at 6. For now, the rogue cards only have Olivier and Marcus's damage and horror soak. Every other color has more soak on clothing, heals, and more allies. Yeah, rogue is very much limited by soak and has no access to no healing. I think there's a world where we'll play charisma just so we have another ally slot, and then like maybe actually use our money to play Andy Van Nortwick, as much as he gives us mostly horror soak. But I also could see us like playing Marcus Sangstack just for a bit more soak, as much as like failing tests is bad because Marcus dies. Yeah, but maybe it's worth something, because like the only way we can get more damage in horror is by playing a Fedora, which I don't want to do, or by playing more allies. So we'll probably play more allies at some point. Everything seems slightly crooked. Okay, we're fine. All right, we'll just do a mulligan real quick. That's not the right pedal. All right, we have to mulligan here. We definitely want to draw always into Olivier Bishop, kind of the best. Next card we want to draw into is Lockpicks, which is a good way to get clues, and then we want to draw into one weapon. Sword Cane is very good, as much as it's not a lot of damage. It's a lot of fast damage because it's evade plus 1 damage, and otherwise the 1903 Hammerless. But we are very, very dependent, not so much on our skills, as much as we have good skill cards and good events, but we're dependent on having a reliable asset. And Lockpicks 1 is the best card we can open with because it just fires our ability super consistently. All right, here we go. All right, 1903 Hammerless. It's our gun. It's okay. We would consider keeping this. We don't really need damage on turn 1, so we'll see. Breaking and Entering, obviously a good card, but we don't need to keep this. We can selectively mulligan. Second Hammerless, we're definitely not going to keep 2. We might not even keep 1. Silver Tongue. So far, this has been a dead card in our deck. We're probably going to upgrade this out of our deck. We have better ways to spend our money. This is not a bad way to spend our money, and it means we can like fire André Patel's and force André Patel's text, but I don't think we want to keep that. Our last card is Olivier Bishop's. Fantastic. So the biggest problem with this hand is we found no way to get clues, and our stats on our book is only 3. Hold on, I have to fix our agility stat. Sorry, agility stat should be 5. Yeah. So we just have to hard mulligan here for a way to find clues, because otherwise we're going to be doing nothing, because all you have to do on the first couple turns is find clues. So I'm going to mulligan these 4, and of course keep Olivier, because Olivier is the GOAT. Oh, these will get shuffled in, of course. All right, right under their noses, technically a bit of clues. That's okay. This guy. Okay, that's fine. That's a Thieves Kit. It doesn't mean we'll succeed by 2, but this allows us to use our 6 book stat once we play Olivier and give us money at the same time. We actually haven't played or used a Thieves Kit yet, but it's like definitely not as good as the lockpicks, but it's something. It's money, and also it does allow us to succeed. But succeed by 2 is going to be a fair bit harder. Unless this is a lockpicks, it's not. It's Know the Line, one of our unique cards. This is the one for an enemy? No, a scenario card. That's good text. Notably, a scenario card doesn't have to be related to the scenario. It just has to be not a player card. I think that covers most cases. But basically, any treachery is technically a scenario card, right? Came here to say I saw the new Seeker deck character and I love her and want to play her immediately, but I'm not sure how good she'd be solo. I think in solo you can do it. I think you have to spend your XP aggressively to be able to do it. I think she's going to feel much better playing multiplayer. How's it going, by the way, Nolan? Because you have someone to heal the horror from, and then there's more targets to heal horror from. But you're also kind of required to stick together, which sometimes isn't the best in 2 players. All right. Okay, so maybe I pushed ourselves too far backwards because we usually keep our hand back here. No, we have space. We have a lot of space. No, the line should be parlay 2 for theme. Yeah, you're right. It's not. It's just a scenario card. Line. All right, so the issue here is we have 5 resources. Olivier costs 4. Thieves Kit costs 3. But Thieves Kit, if we get it down, it gives us more money. Regardless, we're going to start by reading the agenda of the act so we know what we're doing before we start making grand plans. So the Sunken Ruins, there's 2 agenda cards. This is the first one. Chunks of Ritliez's foundation continue to fall, threatening the seafloor dome. I like this art a lot. Forced, when your turn begins, if you're at a fully flooded location, you struggle for air. Okay, so this is the same text in the last one. So this is like the sonic drowning sound. It's really scary. When your turn ends, if you did not enter an unflooded or partially flooded location, or decrease the flood level of your current location, take 5 direct damage. So if you don't breathe on your turn, it's going to get quite bad. I'm just going to make sure we didn't forget to flood anything. It says, if the expedition headed east, the rising city has shaken the ancient dome, increased the flood level of 1 per player seafloor location. So no, we're fine. But we are going to flood this place for sure. Our act, this is what we have to do. And there's only one act here. Reactivate the core. You can't open the barrier core until the undersea dome is at least partially drained. So each location is connected to each location adjacent to it. There is a rules reminder text, but basically everything's orthogonally adjacent. That is text that shows up in a lot of different Arkham Horror scenarios. As a fast action, you can choose to spend a clue to decrease your location's flood level. So same text in the last scenario as well. Objective, at the end of the round, if each surviving investigator is at barrier core active, you may advance. And it says hint, reactivating the barrier core may be by revealing and draining. Sorry, it says hint, reactivate the barrier core by revealing and draining locations. So we'll read about that, but all we have to do here is advance, and that's the only card. So if we do that, I think it's over. So all we have to do is activate this thing. Now, Barrier Core, this is where we start. It's got 4 Shroud. It's got a clue. It says if 6 or more C4 locations are revealed and not flooded. So currently they're not flooded, but they're not revealed. We can flip Barrier Core. So we probably have to find clues on unflood locations and reveal locations. So movement's going to be important because we have to move at least like 9 to 10 times, of course. As an action, decrease the flood level of Barrier Core and choose an adjacent eligible location. So if it's not flooded, you can't do that because it's part of the cost. Increase the flood level of the chosen location. Then place 3 clues on it. Group limit once per round. So you can always get more clues. It's goofy playing between Marvel and Arkham and then forgetting how the mulligan. Yeah, like every game I play has a different mulligan. And like they all suit the game to some extent. Okay, now notably, all these cards have very important text that's worth planning around. This is all the seafloor, so all their backs are the same. It says forced, when you enter seafloor, increase the flood level of this location and an adjacent eligible location. So that's really important text because no place can have its flood level increased by more than 2 because a place is either unflooded, partially flooded, or fully flooded. Which means you actually like can math it out where if you enter the seafloor, you can increase its flood level in the next place. When you enter this one, increase it in the next place. If this one, like you can do it. You can also increase the flood level of the Barrier Core. For what it's worth, the Barrier Core doesn't care if it's unflooded because it just wants to have 6 or more seafloor locations. Oh no, it is a seafloor location. Okay, so you can, in theory, not flood it. But yeah, we can flood this and the next thing. Or maybe the more clever thing to do is if we go to the seafloor, we increase its flood level and we increase the flood level of this location, and then we just go the other way. And then we always just like push the flood forward, but it kind of helps us, but we might have to go to that location anyways. So we're rolling the dice on that one. I'm going to use this die to track how many unflooded locations there are, because I think that's going to matter. And on that note, let's look at the tokens really quickly. Oh, these are not the right tokens. So how do I do this? Scenario, name the drowned quarter. Yeah, that works. So skull. Minus X. X is half the number of revealed locations rounded down. Okay, so I'm going to count the X of the skull. So half the number of revealed locations rounded down. So skull is currently 0. As soon as we move to a location, it'll be a 1. I'll just put a 1 there for now. -2 on the cultist. If you fail and your location is fully flooded, take a damage. So that's not good. But of course, we can spend clues to unflood things, and you can do that during a skill test. Now, in the last scenario, I was incorrect. We had no tablets. We removed the tablet to add a cultist, so that's a west versus east thing. And then the fish face is the same as the last scenario, -3, but -5 if your location is... Oh, it's opposite. -5 if your location is not flooded. So actually being in the flooded location is easier than not. So interesting. Okay. Now, the location we start at has 4 Shroud. That's not good for us. The best we can investigate is 5 or 6 if we wanted to. And we want to probably play the Thieves Kit here. If that's the case, I think we probably want to just leave, because I think there's a chance that one of these seafloors, and we're attached to 4 of them, will have lower Shroud, and we can play the Thieves Kit. It's a bit awkward that we didn't start with any opening economy. Like just an out the door would have been incredible, because if we play the Thieves Kit, we're not going to be able to play Olivier for a turn or 2, and we're going to be moving every other turn. So I think we're just going to hope for the best, move in, see what thing is there. If there's a thing that just says like assets are more expensive to play, like great. Like not, we can play around the text on this. It's been a while, and mind you, they are random to some extent. Chat, we can go in one of 4 cardinal directions. Do you want to please tell me which direction you would like to go to? And of course, all these have very important text that says when you enter them, increase their flood level and flood level in an adjacent location. And adjacent is orthogonal. Which way are we going? It's all random, but it really does matter. We'll have 4 different stories in front of us. West, okay. So we're assuming north is cardinal north, or do I have to go Montreal north? Up, okay. Chris's up was made more sense. Down? All right, as soon as 2 people say the same thing, that's the direction we go. Currently, we have 1 of every, besides east. We're going to go table north, of course, which is it Montreal north? No, not even. I just need 1 more. I'm sorry. The story can't start yet. Don't make me roll a die, because I could have done it in the first place. I have no idea what the chat delay is like, so... I have to be a bit more patient than I'm usually comfortable being. East? Joel! Left. Okay, Eric, you got it. We're going west. Here we go. It's an abyssal trench. So I think some of these are special. Some of these can show up a fair bit. I think there's 2 abyssal trenches. So firstly, we have to, firstly, before we read the text, I think we have to increase its flood level, and then we have to decide what location we're going to increase the flood level of. We can either go up, down, left, or right. I'm going to increase the flood level of the location above it, I think. So these are partially flooded. Mind you, fully flooded is the backside. It's a pretty big difference as much as these are small tokens. But we're going to go in here and we're going to increase that one because then we're going to go this direction. I think that's the gambit. So we'll try that out. Okay, so Abyssal Trench. X Shroud. Mind you, our skull is now 1. X is equal to half the number of revealed seafloor locations rounded down. So it's 1 shroud. That's really good for us. After you successfully fight or evade an enemy at Abyssal Trench, decreases flood level group limit once per game. That's incredible. We definitely want that to happen. We don't have any cards in our deck can grab enemies, but we want that to happen because that's a free, basically, clue worth of value. The seafloor trench feels as alien as another dimension. Okay, fantastic. That is one of our actions. There is a small chance we're going to be able to fire André Patel this turn because second action, we're going to play Thieves' Kit. So Thieves' Kit, I don't think you exhaust this thing. It just comes in with 6 supplies. I'm going to use green because of course, and we can now investigate using our book or foot. And of course, our book is lower than our foot. Our foot is 5. Can't ask for better. If you succeed, you also gain a resource, which is sick. Okay, so second, third, we're going to investigate. We're going to use a Thieves' Kit. So we spend a charge and now we're investigating. Again, the bag is the same as it was last week. So it's about average -2 and we're currently 5-1. So we should be relatively good here. -4. All right, we succeeded, but we didn't get an extra action. So this is the first turn we don't get an extra action, but we do gain the clue. Mind you, there should have been a clue on the location, just 1. So we'll take it and we get a resource. And that's it. We don't get an extra action, but we should be set up to play Olivier next turn, which is great. The best thing we could possibly do here is draw an enemy so that we can use the text on the Abyssal Trench. Because again, we want to lower the shroud of all these locations or lower the flood level. Upkeep, card and credit. We draw Sudden Fall. That's good. This card is the upgraded version. That's all the ones we have left in our deck. But this means if an enemy shows up, we can definitely defeat the enemy for 2 resources. As much as it's going to contest us playing Olivier. 1 of 7 Doom. No other text besides Don't Drown, but we're relatively good. Technically, the fish face is now a -3. We draw. Not an enemy, Eye of the Deep. Okay. This is a card that is just going to be on us because getting rid of it is very difficult. We had this for a couple turns at the end of the last scenario. So it's limit 1 per investigator. That's good. The next one will be a dead draw. But it says treat each cultist and tablet as if it's a fish face instead. And willpower as a 3 action to get rid of this, which we can't do that. We have like 2 willpower stat. Now, the thing is, now this makes the -2 on the cultist to a -3 or a -5 if your location isn't flooded. It is what it is. I don't think we're going to worry about that too much, but technically it did get slightly worse as much as there's no longer a damage penalty. So maybe it's not actually the worst thing. Okay, it's back to us. We can play Olivier just to get our book stat up, which will probably pay out well. And we definitely want to move because we put the flood up there. We're going to commit to coming downwards. So I think for our first action, we're going to play Olivier. And Olivier just gives us some good stats, let alone has a bit of soak, which will be nice. So cost 4. And we have a free move a turn. And of course, our agility is a bit higher now. So we're at 6 book stat, which really cares for when it comes to our Thieves' Kit. You can just use Know the Line if you want this treachery. Yeah, but then I have to take an action, right? I just don't want to take an action. And I'm going to use Know the Line on something better, like translating a glyph. But you're right, we could get rid of it. We're still only 5-3, which is not even like perfect, but we could consider it. All right, then we're going to use Olivier Bishop to get a free move. And we're going to go south. So seafloor, we're going to increase its location. Oh, wait, before we do that, very important that we clear this up before we leave. So on the act, as a fast action, we're going to spend our clue to decrease the flood level of this location. You have to do it at the location you are at. So now we've decreased that flood level. So now this is 1 of the 2. Sorry, it's 2 of the 6 to charge the barrier core. Again, the barrier core needs 6 locations that have no flood that are revealed. So I'm going to track it up there. And that's all we're trying to do. All right, now Olivier down here. We'll increase this one and we're not going to increase that one. We're going to push it forward. So we're always going to be chasing the flood a wee bit. I'll flip this over. Drowned Acropolis. Acropolis. I'm so going to be happy to draw the name of that card that I've learned how to say. You'll see. I practiced. I do want to say what we were saying Frieze wrong. It's Freeze. I was corrected not only in the YouTube comments, but after that stream, I looked it up because I was like, there's no chance it's called Frieze. Hey, Supernaut, how's it going? 2 Shroud. We got the Collapsed Ruins. 3 Shroud, 2 clues. Forced. After you end your turn at Drowned Acropolis, you must either increase the flood level of an adjacent location or take 1 damage. That's bad. Luckily, we still have 2 actions to move out of this location, but we don't want to end our turn here. With Olivier, luckily, we can just kind of do that and move in or out. Notably, if you can't increase the flood level of an adjacent location, you have to take a damage, but we don't want to take damage for no reason, especially because it has to hit our diving suit, and we don't want that. As an action, you increase the flood level of the drowned Acropolis to choose any location and decrease its flood level, so it's strictly a 1-for-1 trade. There are some times where I think that's probably okay, but I do actually want to end our turn on Abyssal Trench because we could draw an enemy. We could evade it there, which would be good. 3 Shroud. Okay, so for our second action, we're going to use our Thieves Kit. So we're investigating now with 6 to 3, which we're not guaranteed to succeed by 2. In fact, it's not very likely, but none of these cards are fantastic. And Thieves Kit specifically needs our book icons, or sorry, we're using our foot icons, so we can't boost with Andy Van Nortwick. The art I have is of the old Thieves Kit. Interesting. It's not of the new Thieves Kit that has the new templating. So weird. 6 to 3. Give us a low. Skull. I think Skull is fine. In fact, Skull might be good for us. That's the hard one. Don't read that one too much. That will make the game worse for us. So Skull is half the number of revealed locations rounded down. So that's 1. So 5 to 3, we succeed by 2. We did what we wanted. So we get a clue. We get an action. We get a resource. Nice. All right. So we still have 2 actions left. We could Thieves Kit again here, no problem, but we definitely want to leave as our last action. Emptying the drowned Acropolis would be good. This is not like lockpicks where you really have to use it once per turn. Technically, we can get the clue off of this and then leave. That would probably be the best case and just not come back here. But we did play Olivier, fast move, get a clue. We have 2 more. So we can do get a clue, empty location, move, and then just hope that this doesn't have bad text. If otherwise, we can go back to the Abyssal Trench, and it only wastes like an action and a bit because we can use Olivier here, but instead if we go here, we can Olivier to the barrier core and then come in. I don't know. Technically, it's less risky to end your turn in this Abyssal Trench, but it's just way less efficient. All right, Thieves Kit, 6 to 3. We also don't need to get all the clues, but I think we should. 3 Shroud's not that bad. 0, so we succeed by 2 again. We get the last clue. We get a resource. So we have 1 more action here. So do you think we just go into the seafloor? No matter what, we'll spend a clue. In theory, the Mythos phase, I'm not sure if you should spend a clue right away, because in theory you shouldn't. Because I don't know if there's any encounter card that says if your location is unflooded, maybe it surges. But at the end of the day, like our tokens get worse if it's unflooded. So if we want to spend the clue to empty this location, we want to move. Because I don't think there's cards that punish you for having clues, but there's definitely cards for punish you for being in a flooded or unflooded location, I'm assuming. I don't honestly know. It's been too long since I played this. So we still have 1 more action. We can either move the Abyssal Trench or go to the seafloor and hope for the best. I think we're just going to do the efficient thing and go for the seafloor. So we're going to spend a clue at fast speed to lower the thing. And then we're going to last action move to this seafloor, fully flooding it, which is fine. We can always like half unflood it as a fast speed if a test comes up. And then we'll just keep pushing the problem down the road. And let's see where we end up. Blasted Ruins. The word blasted is such an Arkham word to me, like the blasted heath. Very, very Lovecraft. Crumbling Edifices, 2 Shroud, 1 clue. After you end your turn of Blasted Ruin, increases flood level. Oh, we can't. Oh, yeah, that's sick. Actually, it's fully flooded. That's perfect. We can't actually increase that. Investigators at Blasted Ruins discard a total of 1 card from their hand to decrease the flood level of this location or an adjacent location. I mean, we'll definitely do that. That's basically an action for a clue. Probably fine. This should be green, but not too bad. Again, if we win back there, we had a chance of, I guess there's no point in going back there because there's no enemies, so there's no flood level we can decrease. Yeah, so that's fine. All right, we end our turn in a fully flooded location. That's fine. We can always fast unflood if we get a skill test where it matters, and we'll get upkeep. Out the door, nice. That's just money. So this is our out the door experienced. It gives us 2 icons for a Thieves Kit, and it'll give us 4 resources. So a 5 resource play with Thieves Kit is sick. We are emptying our Thieves Kit as much as we have a prestidigitation. We need to have another item, I think, in our hand to play, but I might be wrong about that. This goes to 2. 1 counter card. All right, this one's good. Crumbling Masonry. We don't mind this one. So this is just a test 3 book. Sorry, Shroud book. So 2 book. If you fail, take 2 damage. That's not good. Bad. That's bad. That's bad. But we are 6 to 2. As much as we definitely want cigarettes here. So we are just 6 to 2. We have no reason to commit to this. -3. We succeed by 1. Good enough for us. All right. Still no enemies. We have 1 clue and we'll pick up 1 clue. We probably do just discard a card I think we probably just discard Andy Van Nortwick to get the text on this blasted ruins. I'm assuming we just discard Andy here. Like maybe right under the noses is the same. It right under the noses just allows us to get a clue after we evade. So that's okay. The difficult word is back. We haven't drawn it yet. I did just like after that stream, I was like, I gotta figure out how to say this word. This can't just be like a problem forever. I think one way that made the word make sense is to understand that digit is in there because it's about like manipulation with your hands. So prestidigitation. Easy. Okay, so we're just gonna thieves kit this, right? Like I don't think it's special. We're just gonna do 6 to 2. We might not. That was on 3, right? 6 to 2. We might not succeed by. That was on 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. We might not succeed by 2, but we have more chances to figure it out if we don't. I just don't want to out the door this. I want to out the door something that matters. +1, we succeed by 2. So all the things happen. We get a clue. We still have 3 actions and we get a resource. Okay, so we can dump 2 clues here and keep moving. We are just trucking along, mind you. This should be a 3. The skull is now at 2. As soon as we enter this place, it'll still stay at 2 because it's half the revealed locations rounded down. So it's only going to get harder for sure. Yeah, I think we just keep going. I think we just spend 2 clues and head on our way. Well, actually, no, we probably just spend a card. I think clues are going to get harder to find. Like, I think we got lucky that we found places. I'm assuming they all at least have enough clues. But in theory, if you draw an encounter card that just says flood your location, you will run out of clues. And then the only way to get more clues is to do the text on barrier core, which I think is a bit complicated. So I think we should just chuck a card here. And I think we chuck 2 books. So investigate Black Runes, discard a total of 1 card from their hand as a group. Sorry, Andy. Decrease the flood level of this location or an adjacent location. We'll just decrease this. All right, fast, we'll spend a clue. We have unflooded 4 locations of 6. We're doing pretty okay. We haven't seen any victory. There's at least 1 victory enemy in there, but like good luck drawing it in a deck of like 35 cards or whatever. And then we'll all be a bishop to fast travel to the next one. Of course, we'll do the same thing. We'll flood this fully, and then we'll partially flood this seafloor location. Skull is still 2. We get the ancient gallery. That's it. 3 shroud. Whoa, that's a lot of clues. That's 3 clues for solo. That's pretty wild. As an action, choose and discard 2 cards from your hand to put the set aside obsidian relic asset into play under your control. All right, we reached a weird junction. Those relics don't matter that much to us anymore. We still have 3 actions. I'm assuming we do it. We definitely could draw once here. Like the difference between us not finding our cigarettes and finding our cigarettes is basically 1 card draw a turn because we always succeed by 2. And eventually our card draw gets really, really good. Like we usually get close to decking out. So like I would like to find the cigarettes. So we could draw once here. We still have a whole turn. We have 3 actions. No, we have 2 actions because we spent 1 there. So like we could draw 1 and then just do Thieves Kit. We actually might not want to do Thieves Kit because I could see us wanting to use Thieves Kit next turn to guarantee Andre's text. So we could just do draw and see if we draw something bad. I don't think we have a lot of bad cards left in our deck. We mulligan those back into our deck to some extent. But I definitely want to keep into these 2 cards. They're really important. And out the door, like we don't really need to play because our economy's fine as much as we still have some assets to play. I think we just draw here. So 3rd or 4th we'll draw. Yeah, okay. Another out the door. Just 4 resources. Out the door. Still good. And so we can discard 2 cards here to get the relic. Now it just says that the relic, what do? We add it, obsidian relic asset, and put it into play under your control. It could have good text, could have bad text, probably has a test on it. It usually has some more text. Excuse me, I don't think we have to do this now. We could draw 1 more time to give us more cards in hand, which should be relevant. Otherwise, we're just doing a Thieves Kit test at 6 to 3. I think the Thieves Kit is the way that we like guarantee we can get +2. So I think I'm just going to draw last action. All right, we have a hammerless. It's a gun. That's it. That's your whole turn. Card and credit. This location also, like, if we get 1 clue, we can just get 2 clues and leave. There's no reason to get the 3 clues off of this. We can, but there's no reason in theory. Upkeep, we draw unaware. All right. This one's bad, and it's hard to get rid of. It's almost impossible to get rid of on your own. So put unaware into play in your threat area. I think this is an FFG employee. I'm pretty sure this is. The first time you fail a skill test during your turn, draw the top card of the counter deck. If that card is an enemy, discard unaware. So again, we don't want to be failing skill tests for multiple reasons. Everything in our deck really punishes us for failing skill tests. 3 of 7. I think that's everything, right? Yeah. All right, we got Medusa. So we finally have an enemy. There's 3 of these. This is the only unique encounter card from the Drowned Quarter. It's a 3/2/3 with aloof and patrol. So it's not on us, it's at our location. It's going to patrol, so it's always going to move to the nearest unflooded or partially flooded location. So it will always leave and go somewhere. Now, its text is really mean because it says when the enemy phase begins, if Medusa is ready, so you have to either evade it or obviously defeat it, increase the flood level of its location, and if you cannot place 1 doom on Medusa. Now, technically, we can send it to the next seafloor up there and increase its flood level, which is not a real cost because as soon as we enter it, it fully floods. So we don't actually have to deal with the Medusa now, but we probably should deal with the Medusa at some point because it's going to be an issue. And I think there's 2 more of these in the deck. Notably, none of our cards are parlay cards. So if we want to actually deal with the Medusa, we have to engage it. We have to probably I don't know if we want to sunfall it. We might just have to get our hammerless down. But yeah, it is something that you have to deal with. And if it spawns and starts going the wrong way, you're in a bad spot for sure. Doom we're not worried about for a moment, so that should be fine. All right, it's back to us. So far, okay. That's definitely an enemy that takes a couple, 3 actions for us to deal with. I think we're just gonna send the Medusa north, so it doesn't matter. The thing is, we can't leave though. That's a problem because it goes to the nearest unflooded or partially flooded location. So we're kind of stuck in the ancient gallery. Now, in theory, that would be a problem because the agenda deck would drown us if we don't leave this location. We have to take 5 damage. Now, we can always spend a clue to lower the flood level, but on top of that, we have our diving suit, so we don't actually care about the text. Oh, yo, I'm realizing, in hindsight, our diving suit is going to be a problem because it says -5 if your location is not flooded. What does the diving suit say? Your location is fully flooded. If your location is fully flooded, you may treat it as if it were partially flooded. Okay, so it doesn't actually interact with that. So it's may, so you can never be forced to do something worse. Okay, that's neat. All right, so we have breathed already. So that's fine. So I think we're just going to start by trying to get the clue. We're only 6-3. We probably do an out the door here because the out the door will be guaranteed as much as a card out of our hand. I mean, it's money and we're going to have to start playing more of our cards. So we're going to start with the Thieves Kit. We're 6. We'll play out the door. So we gain 4 resources. And if we fail, this will be bad. So we're 8-3. Zero. So we obviously succeed by 2. We gain another resource. We get another action. We get a clue. I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. The firearm is kind of bad with the Medusa. It only deals additional damage if it's exhausted, but Medusa is aloof and it can only be damaged if it's engaged. Oh yeah, you're totally right. Yeah, as soon as we evade it, it disengages from us and then we have to engage it again. So the hammerless is very, very bad. So we probably have to either sudden fall it. Maybe the best case is the cane, but the cane I think is an evade test. I don't even know what it's called. It's polished cane, Polish cane, polished cane. So this is a fight. If you succeed by 2 or more, you may exhaust. So we don't have to do that. But technically this would be a bit better because we just have to attack twice. This does exhaust though. Oh, only if you want to. Yeah. Cane would be what we want here more than the gun. Okay. If we pop our Thieves Kit on here, we're in a bad spot because we have no other good way to get clues besides right under their noses. Right under the nose is good, but I think we have to stay here because we're going to send the Medusa in there. The other option is to deal with the Medusa. We could deal with the Medusa. We have 3 actions. We have to play our gun, engage Medusa. It also doesn't make sense. Now, it's maybe not the worst because the hammerless at least attacks with her evade stat, which is much better than her fight stat. It's 6 versus 2. So even if the hammerless does 1 damage, I don't know. I think we should take a minute to play the hammerless regardless. But yeah, as soon as we enter this location, we're sending the Medusa here, which is bad because it refloods the location. We don't want to do that. Also, notably, as soon as we enter another location, the token on the skull becomes a 3, but that's going to happen no matter what. Yeah, I think we have to draw here. If we draw our Thieves Kit, we have a game. That's kind of how solo is. As if your stats don't do anything. Rogue is kind of like Mystic, where foot doesn't do that much. If you don't draw your assets, you don't do anything. So we really need to draw our lockpicks here to be competitive. So we still have 3 actions though. I think we can spend 1 action to draw because I don't think we can commit to the Medusa unless we want to do a sudden fall, which maybe we have to. But again, the Medusa, it's fine if it moves this turn. I'm going to spend our 2nd action drawing. Easy street. So this gives us 4 wilds because we have at least 9 resources. So this is gain a wild for every 3 resources you have up to 9. So this is 4 wilds, which is obviously very good. We could even deal with the Eye of the Deep, but we won't. I think we just played the 1903 hammerless. Maybe we should get the relic here. It sucks to not use the Olivier Bishop move, but I don't know what to do about it. Okay, 3rd action, I think we'll draw. That's something. That's our polished cane. I think we play our polished cane in the last action and we just pass. Sun falls for exhausted enemies too? No, Shaw. Wait, are you serious? Add your, if this attack, yeah, you're right. So we need our polished cane. Luckily we drew, so that's good. So our last action, we're going to spend 3 on our polished cane. This is what we're going to use to slowly deal with the Medusa. It's going to take us 3 actions, but of course it is. So this comes in for 3. It now lets us to fight with our evade, which is something, and polished cane plus Sunfall deals with things relatively well. I think we definitely want to do this ancient gallery thing sooner before we leave it, which will be a next turn problem, but that's kind of it. That's our 3 actions. So the Medusa is going to do its text. So it's going to patrol to the nearest unflooded or partially flooded location. Now we have 2 choices. You choose now. We get to choose which way it goes. A lot of people misconstrue the what's it called? The what's the rule where you have to do the bad thing? What's the name? Everyone knows the name of this. Why is it blanking? But regardless, that rule is only for when there's an ambiguity with the rules, or that's mostly it. So whenever it's your choice, it's truly your choice. And I guess you could decide to make things harder for us, but we're going to put it here, of course. The Grim rule. Thank you. Yeah. The Grim rule is usually quoted incorrectly. It's only for rules ambiguities, not for like decisions that you're able to make. So if Medusa isn't ready when the enemy phase begins. Oh, whoa, hold on. When the enemy phase begins, if Medusa is ready, increase the flow of its location if you cannot place 1 doom. Oh, wait, but so it just gets a doom. Hold on, we did this wrong. Because patrol happens when the enemy phase, like after the enemy phase begins. So this is meant to do something and then move, not do something, the move and then do something, which means we should use Olivier Bishop here. Because all this thing is going to do is get doom on it. But that being said, okay, hold on, because we have to think this through. Once we enter this location, its flood won't be fully flooded. And then it's going to move in here. So we can move in here and fast spend a clue. Yeah, it's doom and then move. It's not what I thought it would be. So actually we were able to move here with Olivier Bishop. The downside is we drew a card off of upkeep. No, we haven't done upkeep yet. So we are allowed to retcon this because all we've done is play our polished cane. We could technically do an Olivier Bishop move during the, technically you can do it even during the enemy phase, but yeah, we're actually allowed to do this during the enemy phase. So I'm going to use Ollie. Are we going to do this text on the ancient gallery? I think we should. But I think we want to move up to the seafloor above us. And then even in the fast window, we can deflood it once so the Medusa comes to us. I think that's probably acceptable. If we draw another enemy, we'll be in a bad spot. Are we giving up on this gallery? Huh. Do you know the rules on patrol? When it says nearest, will it move if it's at a location that falls into its camp? Because I think it does, right? Like patrol doesn't need to move. The patrol rules are in the season 2 core set. But if its location is unflooded, it won't move, right? Because the nearest location to it is it, I think. It's a bit like nonsense, but it like kind of makes sense. It's just like the word patrol makes it sound like it will move no matter what. Because patrolling is more active than just like standing. But technically this thing will sit here if we half unflood it, I'm pretty sure. Okay, this is an interesting choice. So we can, in fast windows, we can both move. Like no matter what, this gets a doom. We could have done this during the enemy phase, but we also could have done it during the investigator phase. No matter what, this is going to get a doom. I think we're using purple for doom. I should get better dice. Oh, mind you, I need to put health on this thing. So this gets a doom. And then it'll move to this or this. However, we can fast move. So we can fast move to the seafloor, see what it's like. We can empty the shroud. We could empty this by 1, move into there, and then next turn come back. And I'm fine with that. I think I'm fine with that. Because Olivier Bishop will not be super useful. So what we're going to do is in the fast window at the beginning of the enemy phase, I think after they, no, it's after. So we have to do this during the player phase, the investigator phase. We are going to spend a clue to lower the flood. And then we're going to use Olivier Bishop to move into the seafloor and hope for the best. We're going to increase this flood level, and we're going to increase this flood level. We have now got the skull to be a 3. All right, it's an abyssal trench. This one's fine. We have kind of a symmetrical panel here. So shroud is equal to half the number of revealed seafloor locations. So it's 3. And after you successfully fight or evade an enemy at abyssal trench, decrease its flood level. Okay, now we can decide what we want to do with it. So we actually can do something really cool here. So now that we're here, it has 1 clue. We're going to do another fast action to spend a clue to lower its shroud level. Then once the enemy phase, this thing will add a... No, it won't add a doom, right? No, okay, so we can't empty this one. Why did I think we could lower this one? We don't want to lower this one because then it increases it right away. Hold on. Okay, so the Medusa says, when the enemy phase begins, which would have been right now, if Medusa's ready, increase the flow level of its location. We don't want that to happen, so we shouldn't have decreased this before we left. I'm not sure why we thought that was a good idea, but we're not going to decrease this. We're just going to enter the Abyssal Trench and decrease that one. Okay, so we have one more clue. The reason why that is because now the Medusa will get a doom because its location can't be increased, and then it'll move to either left or north. We'll send it to the north, and that is perfect because when we evade something at the Abyssal Trench, we'll be able to lower its flood level. That's just fantastic. If an enemy with the patrol keyword, thank you, Lucas, would move as a result of the patrol keyword, but is already at its target location, it does not move. Okay, so patrol will like guard if it needs to. Okay, that was the turn. Now we can do upkeep. We draw another breaking and entering. Okay, that's fine. This is technically good. Actually, this is good. If you succeed by 2 or more, you may automatically evade an enemy at this location. It doesn't have to be engaged with us, so we can evade the thing. It doesn't really help with anything, but if we had our hammerless down, that actually would have helped. Because we could have played our hammerless, break in and entered, engaged, and shot it, which would have been fun. But instead we went for the cane. I think that's going to be okay for us. All right, we're at 5 of 7, because this has Doom on it. We draw an encounter card, not an enemy. It's an enemy. That's bad. The deep one, Thrall. So this one is discard a random card, right? 3/2/3. 2 health is just awkward enough because we didn't play our hammerless. After deep one Thrall engages you, randomly discard a card from your hand. So this could be bad. This is our best card in our hand. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't have a D10. We're just going to shuffle. What the heck kind of diner doesn't serve food? Just kidding, or maybe you do. Serve food and it's just Eldritch Delights hot. Just kidding, I'll add this description. Yo, Liquid Snake, welcome to the channel. This is our like maybe 2nd or 3rd week doing this. I wanted to bring food at some point. It's just kind of hard to eat and talk at the same time. It makes me uncomfortable, but I wanted to have like a piece of pie on the table at some point. All right, know the line we get rid of. That's fine. That's acceptable. Okay, that's it. That's all we have. So we have this on us, which that's annoying. We have the Polished Cane, which is good, but it only does an evade and 1 damage. It allows us to add our stats. And so if we add our fight to our agility, we're at 8, and 8 to 3, we should succeed by a lot. We definitely need to kill this thing. We need to defeat this thing because otherwise it's going to be increasing the flood level. And that's like the worst thing we can ask for. So it is aloof though. So even if we spend an action to engage it, this thing hits us. So we're kind of in a world of trouble. This might be a breaking and entering just to get a free evade off of this thing. Now, the problem with these sort of like deep ones is that anytime they engage you, they do something bad. So when we evade it, we can still fight it with the Polished Cane. We're probably going to discard another card is all I'm saying here, which is not my favorite thing. Okay. Wow. We have to puzzle our way out of this. I also kind of want to drag this thing to this Abyssal Trench, but I guess its flood level is not. It's empty, so that's not that big of a deal. Let me just move this here. Okay, wow, what do we do here? I was so confident about the Polished Cane, but actually like 1903 Hammerless is way better here, especially with breaking and entering. This hits for 1 and 1 as well, which is like definitely not worth taking for fun. You could. It just like hits our suit and takes us 1 horror, which is actually not a huge cost, but our suit might matter. I can wait until you make an Isengard inspired YouTube channel for Lord of the Rings Gmax. I have a full Lord of the Rings collection. I just don't play enough of it to let alone be confident to talk about it with any sort of authority. But the game's pretty good. I wish I had more time to play it. Okay. Okay. What are we doing here? I'm deeper into the tank than I thought it'd be. Things have been going good, but this is now a hard turn where like when you play multiplayer, your friends can help you out. We have to solve everything. If this increases the flood level, it's annoying, but it's not game losing. It's just annoying. We have emptied 4 locations so far. We just have to empty 2 more. And then that's it. I think Barrier Core just flips. Barrier Core just says, if 6 or more seafloor locations are revealed and not flooded, flip Barrier Core. Okay, so we've actually revealed 6. If we just unflood all of them, we can flip this thing over. Now, just so we are on the same page, the act says, at the end of the round, each investigator's add Barrier Core to active you may advance. So we could just leave, but we also have to like flip it over and it might have more text. Can you play Red Under the Noses after the cane or not? No, I don't think so. And I think it's the successfully evade rule, which is super cursed. So it says after you successfully evade an enemy. That's the worst text. Polished cane does not successfully evade. It automatically evades. The fact that this game has a very strict distinction and it doesn't explain it like clearly in the rulebook, it does, but like deep in the rulebook. If you automatically evade something, it's evaded, but it doesn't count as a successful evade. A successful evade is a result of a skill test usually. So like you can't do that. I would love to do that. Is Lord of the Rings closer to Arkham Horror or Marvel Champions, or is it entirely different? It's closer to it's closer to Marvel Champions because it doesn't have like, well, they've started adding more components like this, but it doesn't really have a campaign mode. It has stories that are connected, but you don't have a deck that like, generally you don't have a deck that like gets experience and that sort of stuff. One of the big things when it comes to Lord of the Rings is like the scenarios are very difficult. I think the game overall is harder, and you are much more encouraged to build decks to solve a scenario on a scenario by scenario basis. Like there's one certain scenario that will say like, oh, you have to protect this thing and keep it healed before it enters, before like it dies, bleeds out before you get back to town. Then the next scenario would be like, oh, there's 3 trolls on the hill. What do you do? And they're very good at creating like bespoke problems. And then you generally tackle it, at least from my limited experience, like doing deck building to solve the problems in front of you. It's weird. It's like very old too. It's like compared to Arkham Horror and Marvel Champions, where the games are much more streamlined. Like in Marvel Champions, there's like 2 phases. In Arkham Horror, there's technically like 4 phases. There's like 10 or 11 phases in Lord of the Rings. It's nonsense. It's like very, very much an older design. It's also a very punishing game. It's much more punishing. So closer to Arkham Horror in that way. Okay. Okay. All right. Do we a sudden fall this thing? So we can do a B&E, get the clue, evade this thing. We'll probably get an action back. We can a sudden fall this, which feels like it just gains 1 action, so that's probably not worth it. We can cane it. We can cane it. When we evade this, we lower the flood. I think we might as well do that. And I think that's all we do. And we just basically say we're going to deal with that next turn because it's not going to move. Technically, we're at 5 doom. If this was next turn, it'd be a lot worse. It would be 6 or 7. Maybe 2 polish cane to kill the fish and breaking entry to evade the Medusa. Oh, you're right. We can evade the Medusa. Yeah, that's way better. Yeah, we definitely evade the Medusa with the cane, with breaking and entering. Because, yeah, it's only when the enemy phase begins if it's ready. Yeah, 100%. That saves us a clue. That's really good. Only thing I've heard from anyone is that's really hard. Thank you for confirming. It is very difficult. Yeah, the core set, it's like playing solo and defeating the second scenario in the core set. It's like, damn, you did well. It's not like expected, which is cool for like a solo hardcore game. That's like pretty cool, but it's not a casual. It's not that easy to play casually. Yeah, I think we're gonna start there with the B&E. So we're just do breaking and entering. This should guarantee. I should not say those words, but we should be likely to get another action here. So we're gonna spend 2. So investigate. Add your your intellect to your foot. So we're 9 to 3. I think it's 3. Abyssal Trench is, I believe, half of the what's it called? Half of the shroud, half the mana locations, half of the revealed seafloor locations. Yeah, so it's 3. So we're currently 9 to 3. Cool. If we succeed, we get a clue, let alone we can evade something in our location. I should do this on the table more. -4. Still succeed by 2, right? 5 to 3. Woo. All right, so we get a clue. That's good. And we can evade an enemy at our location. So this thing is no longer ready, so it doesn't have text. We gain an action back. So we still have 3 dang actions. That's great. Yeah, it seems good. All right, next we'll do the polished cane. Mind you, successful evade, not a successful evade. So we can't do Abyssal Trench. We can't do breaking an entry, or sorry, we can't do out right under their noses. Notably, I'm not going to play out the door. Like we have enough resources and we technically need cards in our hand for Ancient Gallery. So we'll hold on to this for now. But we're going to do polished cane. So we're going to add our fight to our evade. So we're 8 and we're going to attack the Deep One Thrall. So we're 8 to 3. Add your intellect to your foot, mixing and matching SMH. I say 3 different things. It's foot, it's agility, it's intellect, it's book, it's lore. I never say the same consistent thing, but hopefully you understand what I mean. I like it was Arkham as much as the next person, but you should at least give your investigator a lightsaber. Whoever made the Neverwinter.8 cross Arkham Horror web game? Oh, that was Amson team. That was Amson, folks. It was sick. For what it's worth, Ams had never played Arkham Horror. -1. Okay. So for those who don't know, for a spoiler season last year, when we got new Neverwinter cards, Some really nice folks from the UK, they put together a client that allowed you to play this Netrunner version of Arkham Horror that revealed a card. It was like the coolest thing ever. So add your evade to this. If the attack succeeds by 2 or more, which it did, you can technically evade it. I mean, that's fine. And we'll do a damage. There's no reason to evade it, but we can, so we will. It's still a fight. That's it. The cane is technically exhausted, and then we can do the text on Abyssal Trench. So Abyssal Trench says, after you successfully fight or evade an enemy at the location decreases full level, group limit once per game. So we've successfully done it. Wow, we still have 2 actions, actually. We still have 2 actions. Wait a second, we could just kill this thing. No, because if this re-engages us, it's a problem. Let's not do that. So we're going to use the Polished Cane again, which I'm pretty convinced we can keep doing, because only the exhaustion is attached to the evade. Yeah, so we're going to attack again. 8 to 3. +1. First fish down. Actually, because this is, oh no, this is aloof. We can't attack it. We have to engage it. I forgot. It's exhausted and aloof. Yeah. Yeah, look at us. Flush with actions. Good old 4-turn at André. That's what they call me. 4 action, André. Okay, so this is just going to sit here and not do anything. It's not going to patrol, because I think patrol is attached to being ready. Patrol is being attached to ready, right? I'm pretty sure patrol is attached to being ready, just like Hunter doesn't happen when they're exhausted. So the Medusa is not going to move. So we have 1 more action, because we did breaking and entering, cane. So we could move down to the Ancient Gallery and just get a clue. I think that's kind of fine. So we're going to use Olivier Bishop. Mind you, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We're at 5. So if we just empty this, we win. Or not we win, but we flip the thing over and we can see what happens. On top of that, like there's probably reasons to go to the top 3 locations. I'm not sure how many of them have access to relics or glyphs. Probably some of them. But we will André Patel down to this Ancient Gallery. This one just has 3 Shroud. That's it. So we're going to go ahead and use our last Thieves Kit. So we're 6 to 3. I don't think I'm going to out the door here. I think I'd rather save that for something a bit more important. Actually, 8 to 3 is pretty good. The other options, we could hold the Thieves Kit for next turn to guarantee that we succeed by 2. But our next turn is move back with Olivier. I mean, this one we can probably empty. We can probably empty this one. 6 to 3 is good. We can't fail by 2, which is the biggest problem. We really need to find our lockpick. This is a -3. This is fine. Because this is -3, -5 if your location is not flooded. Ooh, reversal of expectations. So we get a clue and we get a resource. Sick. We could decrease the flood level of this at instant speed. I don't think there's any reason to. The one small reason too is you could draw a card that says like flood the nearest location. That would force us to flood forward. We wouldn't flood backwards, but that's fine. I'm pretty sure. I think that's totally fine. So we won't. If we draw like a card, it's fine. We will pass. The Medusa will go technically now, but it's exhausted. So when the enemy phase begins and Medusa is ready, that doesn't happen, and it doesn't patrol because it's exhausted. It will ready at the same time that we do upkeep. We get another breaking and entering. Okay, and now we go at, we're technically at the witching hour. We have to defeat this thing because we're at 6 of 7. This will advance and we lose 3 actions, technically 4 actions if we don't defeat this thing right now. Oh, these things are so bad. These are so interesting. We saw a card like this back in Forgotten Age. So it's a 2/2/2 with Hunter. It's a construct, which is a really fun subtype. It says prey is the nearest investigator with an artifact asset. Now, prey is not prey only, so it will chase whoever it is. Prey is only a decider for ties. Force, when you defeat this enemy, spawn each other persistent construct on the victory display exhausted at your location. We're not going to do that. We're probably just going to like walk away from this thing and just try and stay 2 steps ahead of it. If it hits us for 1, which is not the end of the world. But like when you have 3 of these, it's really bad. Like you don't want to defeat them. Of course you don't. So the first one you can kill. The second one you want to evade. The third one, you just hope you don't draw. Again, the deck is like 37 cards, so shouldn't be an issue. Okay, so far so good. Haven't failed the test yet. I don't know why I'm saying that. Knock on wood. Oh my God, why did you say that, André? That was a bad idea. All right, so we could do a proper B&E here, and then we could just drain this immediately and see what the text is. We need to spend 3 actions dealing with this thing, which is really awkward. We need to move, we need to engage, we need to fight. So we basically have to succeed by 2 here. Wait, are we cooked? Wait, do we not have enough actions? Because we can Olivier in, but then we have to engage, we have to fight. So no, we have 1 action to get rid of this thing. So I think we just do a breaking and entering. Because if we breaking and entering, we're going to evade this thing, which is good because it's a hunter. We should get the clue. We can empty this thing, and then we can go on our way. I think we have to B&E here. It was a really good top deck, so we'll play the B&E. I think we have enough actions here with Olivier. So we're going to breaking and entering. We add our stats. We're 9-3. I threw that. For what it's worth, is a -4, so we still succeed by 2. Let me go get that. I always say the dice has to roll on the table for it to count, but I'm going to count that. We whip the -4 across the room. So we succeed by 2 because we go to 5-3. So we can get the clue. It's good. We can evade this thing with the breaking and entering. Not a successful evade, but we also get another action because we succeeded by 2. Okay, now this has text. I'm like so less motivated to go get all the relics. I'm assuming the relics have victory, but we probably could get the relics. I just don't think we can do it now. That being said, if we like unflood this thing, wait, actually, it happens. It happens now. We've done it. We've hit 6. It just happens. Hold on. I guess we can see this text. Oh no, it only happens if we spend 2 clues. Let's spend 2 clues. And then we'll unflood this location. And now we have 6 unflooded C4 revealed locations. Okay, so the barrier core says, if 6 or more seafloor locations are revealed and not flooded, flip this. Don't mind if I do. The other side. Force, if there are 5 or fewer unflooded locations, flip barrier core. As an action, spend 2 clues, put the set aside barrier node story asset into play under your control. Now, what's really interesting is we can technically just leave. Right? Because the act just says, at the end of the round, if each surviving investigator has the barrier core active, you may advance it. Now, the barrier node is obviously the piece of machinery that's keeping all this together. And so I think we technically want to get it for a couple reasons. So we do need to get 2 clues. Wait a second, we have 2 clues. So we can't just do that. But I think we should deal with the Medusa because it buys us another turn. Technically, we spend a turn to get a turn, but also Medusa's defeated, and that's probably worth it. Because otherwise, this thing will flip back. So I think we're going to work on that. But it's good. We have the active barrier core. That's like pretty good. We did that very, very efficiently, I'd like to say. I'd like to hope. Olivier Bishop, we're going to move in here. We still have 3 actions. We're going to engage the Medusa. Very thematically, reminds me of Rapture from Bioshock. It's not that different, but it's definitely way more like Giger than it is like Art Deco. We are an underground city, but not a city made by people, let alone like the brightest minds for all that sort of stuff. It's where like deep ones and ancient evils come from underneath ground. But the tone is correct. There's water above us, and it's dark, and it's not going well for anyone. All right, Medusa says engage with us because we have to do fast move engage. So we have 2 more actions, and we basically need each hit of the cane to connect. That's the only way we can do additional damage here. We could play our 1903, but it doesn't matter. Icky Rapture, yeah, it's like gross Rapture, like bio. It's like more biomechanical nightmare Rapture than like again Art Deco jazz Rapture. So we just have to hit this twice. We also, if the first attack whiffs, we can just evade this thing. We still don't increase the flood level, but we still have issues where like the doom advances. So we're gonna do the polish cane. We're gonna attack. It's 8-3. We have to hit twice. We're not gonna evade it because, mind you, the polish cane you may. If we evade it, it's aloof. We have to engage it again. So you don't want to evade this thing. -1. Good. 1 damage. We'll use the cane one more time. 8-3. -2. Got it. Huge. Doesn't have victory. There's 2 more of these in the deck, mind you. Feels good. Okay. So we have 2 clues. Next turn, we can Olivier Bishop into there and have a good time. What's really interesting about Olivier Bishop, I think Olivier Bishop says on your turn, right? There's no way it doesn't say on your turn. Yeah, during your turn. Because technically, if it didn't, you could fast move during an encounter card if there's a skill test and then move somewhere else and have the effects happen somewhere else if it's a skill test. That shouldn't matter. Let's do upkeep. Card and a credit. We draw sticky fingers. I mean, like, I'm liking this card less and less. Our money's good enough. Spending an action to play that, it's fine. It would have fired 2 or 3 times, but like, we don't need more money. At some point, will be a big money deck where you do want more, as much money as you can get, but not so much now. The upgraded version is fast, and that's a big difference because spending the action to play this sucks. Because you can always click for a resource, so now you're behind 2 resources for your action, so you have to have more. You know how it works. This thing readies. All right, counter card. Deep One Ambush. Okay, so notably, this means we'll be guaranteed to take some damage, but it's also not a skill test, and it's not something we can fail. This just says, put it into play, limit 1 per investigator. After a deep one, an enemy engages you, it just hits you. So for that one that we just defeated, the Medusa, it's not a deep one. Actually, Medusa's not a deep one. That's neat. It's, I guess it's a jellyfish, right? Be careful out there. We have no idea what's lurking in the shadows. And yeah, they're right behind you. Okay. Are we just going to go in there and do the barrier core? Like, are we just going to go in there? There's a lot of encounter cards that add flood, which is like the awkward thing here. But I think we're just going to all be a bishop in here and grab the node. So we'll move into here. Barrier core active. Spend 2 clues as a group. Okay. Put the barrier node asset into play under your control. Okay. This is the barrier node. It takes up no slots. It has 1 damage on it. I think this card actually has really cool text. There's only 1 side, but notably we don't get all the text. So this is an energy shield. This is the thing that's powering the dome. So barrier node cannot be defeated or leave play. When your turn begins, heal 1 damage from barrier node. We have found out how to heal ourselves infinitely. We now have 1 damage we can take every single turn, and this just heals itself when our turn begins. Now, if you can translate those glyphs, and obviously we can't, this gets +2 health, which just gives you a lot more soak as much as it only heals 1 per turn. Now, in terms of those icons, I think we have straight none of them. We could have translated one, I think, from the last one. I think those 5 dots was a relevant option, but none of those other ones we've translated. So any of the text underneath that is text that only is active if you can translate it. So far, we have 0 of 5 symbols, and I think we biffed this one because I think we lost one of the symbols in the last scenario. 6 turns and André didn't take any damage or horror. Yeah, what happened? Like, this is the really ugly thing here. Oh, sorry. We could leave. When the round ends, we're allowed to leave. We've only spent 1 action, but we can just leave. So now we're like in hubris territory. Now, this thing is going to advance. And when it advances, it can't be good for us. But like we know that there's, in terms of set aside cards, there's 2 set aside cards. One is from the Ancient Gallery. We've also notably got 0 victory. So that's like a weird thing. But like we could just leave here. At the end of the round, if each of 5 investigators of the barrier core, we could waltz out. I don't know what to do with that information. I don't know what to do with that. Like we're in such a good spot. We've taken literally no damage. We failed no tests. We are kind of out of gas because they're a Thieves Kit. So like in terms of our deck, while we still have, I think, 1 weakness in here, there's 3 cards in here that get clues. Either the second Thieves Kit, a Prestidigitation actually would reset our Thieves Kit, or we could draw our lockpicks. It's definitely a Plasmid. You're playing Bioshock. Shout for the big daddy. Are you ready to make a moral choice? Yeah, you're right. Bioshock 2 was okay. I thought Bioshock 2 was actually pretty okay. For a long time, Bioshock was my favorite video game. It's probably not anymore, but it was a really good game. Okay, it also like, I was the perfect age when it came out. I think 2007 was like such an absurd year for video games if you were like a teenage boy. Like 2007 was just the best video game year. It was like Orange Box, Modern Warfare, Bioshock, if I'm not mistaken. Guitar Hero or Rock Band, one of them came out that year. I think the new Halo 3 was 2007, just like a year and a half. Some of those might be plus or minus 1 year, but like, yeah, I lived in the suburbs. What are we doing? What are we doing here? Are we leaving? It feels like we shouldn't leave. Like at a minimum, we can get the Ancient Gallery. I don't know what these locations are. Probably you should know. Oh, I remember now. It had a good atmosphere, but playing Bioshock for the first time as a 37-year-old, I don't know if it overstayed its welcome for me. No, it's still good, Eric. It has to be still good. I was in college. It was a great year. 97, 07 were solid. What was in 97? I was a bit young, but I've played old PC games, a fair bit of old PC games. I think the old PC games that mattered for me were like Unreal, which I think was 99. Probably Half-Life was 97, I'm assuming. I assume Half-Life was 97, right? Okay. I think we have to keep going. I don't think we're leaving now. We could have left now, okay? I don't know what happens when the thing advances. If it's bad, it's bad. But notably, this will flip back. And we've spent all our clues. So like we really need to help the clues stay afloat. But the only way we can leave is, you know, by getting clues, and we can't. This says Foreshroud, which means we have a chance of right under their noses is good as long as we end up north of it, because right under their noses works at a neighboring location. So that like that's a cool thing. So I think we just go north and hope for the best. The problem is we have to irreparably mess up left or right. Because we entered this location, it actually might make more sense that we go right and then forward. No, it's always bad. Did you play the Star Wars TCG? No. No, I didn't. I was too young. But I have friends. One of my Arkham friends had played the Star Wars TCG. Bioshock thing is okay. No, I think Bioshock 2 is actually pretty good. It's just like, it's a better shooter. And I don't think that's the part of Bioshock people are excited about. It's just like a thing that you have to defend. Okay, sorry. Which way are we going? We've spent one action to pick up the node. Yeah. So we haven't got our free action. It's going to be tricky to get a free action because we have no big boosts here. Like we could easy street an investigation just to get an action back. And honestly, maybe. I think we're just going to go north and see what happens. So as our second action, we're going to move to the seafloor. The skull is now still -3. It's another abyssal trench. Wait, they keep printing these things? All right. X is equal to half the number of revealed seafloor locations rounded down. 3. Still 3. Not bad. And after you successfully evade an enemy at abyssal trench, increase the flow level. Sorry, we were meant to make a decision before we revealed this. So obviously it goes up. And then we just do a 50-50. Chat, are we flooding left or right? We flooding left or right? In theory, we want to be on the right side of the table because it's closer to the ancient gallery. But I think these are both unique locations because in terms of unique locations, Acropolis is a unique location. Blasted Ruins is a unique location. And then I think there's like 3 abyssal trenches. There might be like a fast travel one. There usually is. Gran Turismo, Final Fantasy VII, GoldenEye, Star Fox 64, Castlevania Symphony of the Night, Fallout, some others I can't remember. That's a good year. Half-Life was 98. So was MGS. Plus or minus a year isn't a big deal. Oh, okay, sick. Yeah, 97 seems like a good year. I have played most of those. Symphony of the Night is probably my favorite from that list. I've never played an old CRPG Fallout game all the way through. We flood in left or right? You can choose your choice. I think we flood left and just never enter left. I think left is cursed. It's nice to go left because when we enter left, we can flood the Abyssal Trench, and this one's easy to unflood with all of your bishops. So I'm going to flood this. Okay, 3 Shroud. We are 3-3. We don't want to fail by 2 for like a whole bunch of reasons. So I think we might just easy street this. We did fast move, action, action. So we have 1 more and we can get 2 more. This might be a silly easy street because I think we're going to need easy street to translate something. I'm pretty sure we're going to have to translate 1 or 2 glyphs. Also, one of the things set aside as an enemy, it's a parasite. That's fine. We're pretty good at enemies. We're probably fine. I think I'm just going to draw. I think we just need to find lockpicks. All right, that's good. We definitely want an enemy here, right under their noses. Okay, so now it's the enemy phase. We took 3 actions. We did fast move, activate, move, draw. So this thing has to move the persistent construct. We can control where it moves as long as it's moving the shortest path. Now, basically, any place it can go is the shortest path. I think we're more interested in going this way, so we're going to put this to the left. Ultimately, it won't matter unless we're perfectly in this corner when it's here because we get pinned, and then we can put it up there, and then we can go down that way. So we'll try and make the smart play. That's it. Upkeep. We're going to have our 8th card. It's not a lockpick. It's another copy of Ollie. Fine. Has icons, I guess. And then we advance. Let's see what happens. So this is the agenda. I never remember which one's which. So this flips over and becomes, oh, one of those cool things that doesn't happen enough. It becomes a thing. We should have left, my friends. We should have left. It's a seafloor Leviathan. It's a giant aquatic medusoid. It's massive. It has patrol. It spawns at the barrier core. Phenomenal. It has 7 health. I don't like big numbers like that because it needs 2 dice and that's not elegant. 2 fight, 2 evade is not that bad. It's massive and has patrol to the nearest unflooded or partially flooded location. When the enemy phase begins, if this enemy is ready, increase the flood level of its location. Victory 2. So we found our first victory. The issue is it has 7 health. Honestly, not the end of the world. We're probably going to take a hit from this thing, but we definitely want to like sudden fall it and then hit it with the cane. Maybe play a 1903 Hammerless. I really want to draw a Prestidigitation because this does 3 damage. The cane does a damage. Hammerless does 2 damage. And this gives us victory. This is actually like a fine thing to sit on. Notably, its text is only bad when the enemy phase if it's ready. So it's just to evade. Like we honestly should not be upset about this. Did you want the other relic? Yeah, Christopher, we'll get down to it eventually. I think we're going to go the long route, but we want to go down here and spend 2 cards. We should have some time to do it. Did you take the clue on this location? No, there should be a clue on the location. Good catch. Forgot to do the dice. That's the problem with these dice. All right, we still have to get an encounter card though. Actually, no, first we should read this agenda name. Collapsing Dome. Oh, that sounds bad. So the dome won't hold up much longer against a barrage of falling rock, and then it has the same like sonic drowning JPEG. So we just don't want to do that. Don't drown. Drowning's bad. What does massive mean? Attacks each investigated location regardless of engagement. Yeah, you basically nailed it, but it's also considered engaged with every character. There's technically some like really ugly nuance that I don't like, but it is engaged with every character's location. However, it doesn't engage you. You're just engaged with it. There's like really ugly rules where it's like, if you have a card that says when you engage something, it doesn't work on massives, but massives are engaged with you. I don't know what that is. I might be misspeaking. If someone in the comments wants to correct me on that, but that's mostly it. It's basically, it will never be in your threat area, but it's engaged with everybody at its location. And of course, if you try and leave its location, it won't follow. I think that's also rules relevant. It won't follow you. I don't think massive people move, but they will do attacks of opportunity. They can move naturally, but they won't follow you if you move and leave its location. It just hits you. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing that comes up with Zoe. Zoe, it says when you engage an enemy, you get a resource. Doesn't work on massives. It's an absolute piss off. Is this a... No, it's not a deep one. Ominous silence. All right, we'll just enjoy that in your threat area, buddy. As additional cost to play a card, you must either spend a resource or take a horror. I don't mind this card. I usually tank this card, either because we have 8+ horror and or because we, money is good. Test 3 to get rid of this. If your location is not flooded, it automatically succeeds. You still have to do the test though. If you succeed, discard this. So that's fine. Those orange and black 3D deck holders, things look sick. Thank you. Yeah, I got these from Etsy. They're really cheap. It's just the shipping is pretty bad. This is the one I use for Marvel Champions. This is the one I use for Arkham. I, in theory, want to go get some that are one for each color. Like I have a green one from André, but like, yeah, the shipping is really expensive. I'll be honest. They're nice though. I like them a lot. I think card holders actually are sick. The reason that we do this is actually this takes up way less table real estate than having a deck in a discard pile. And table real estate is actually something we have to manage on stream. All right. That's definitely a crowded encounter set. I think we just go in there and start smashing. In theory, that's the cool thing about massives is we can actually leave massives with Olivier Bishop. Can someone give me a sanity check? If you leave a location with a massive, it won't follow you, which means we can always just Olivier Bishop away from a massive enemy. Is that not correct? Like we can just move in there, attack, gain an action, hopefully, attack and Olivier out. I'm pretty sure we can do that. Yeah, man, Olivier Bishop's really good into massive enemies. Yeah, it stays there. Yeah, it would hit you, but we're not spending an action, so it doesn't hit you. Yeah, damn. And this thing has patrols. Oh, man. Now, okay, wait, hold on. The one thing that we have to care about is Polished Cane, I think, has an elite clause on it. That's the one thing that's going to catch us out. Because it says if the enemy succeeds by 2 or more against a non-elite enemy, and there's no shot this thing with 7 health is not elite. What is this thing called? Seafloor Leviathan? Giant aquatic medusoid. I don't know why I put the subtitle in the title. It is, of course, it's elite, yeah. Yeah, so it won't hit us on the way out if we use Olivier, which is good. So if that's the case, we're probably still going to use Olivier anyways because we're going to evade this thing. It's just harder to use the Polished Cane because we have to spend an actual evade action. We're also full on cards. That shouldn't matter. I think we're just going to evade, probably not do a sudden fall until it matters. We probably will just commit out the door because we'll have more resources. Playing cards is a bit more expensive. So we are going to use Olivier and we're just going to duck in here. All right, it's engaged with us, but it's not on our player in our threat area because it's massive. First action, we're going to use our Polished Cane to fight. No, we'll just evade. Let's just do a normal evade. So this thing is only 2 evade. Surprising. We are 6 to 2. We don't need to commit this, but we're going to be over hand size. I guess we could play sudden fall this turn. It doesn't really matter. We're going to play right under their noses to get 2 clues. Oh God, right under their noses is going to be so good. Should we have? Yeah, no, that's so good. Yeah, we're going to play this, so we don't have to commit a card. We'll just do 6 to 2 here. We'll get an action no matter what. So first action, 6 to 2. -1, all our triggers. We get an action back. We evade this thing. We can play right under the noses. So this says cost 2. We'll take a horror. We can take a horror here. Doesn't matter. We have to either pay a horror or pay a resource whenever we play a card. So discover 1 clue at your location. If you succeed by 2 or more, you can discover 1 clue at a connecting location instead, not as well instead. So we're going to get this clue here because it is Foreshroud. Okay, we still have a whole turn. We have 3 actions. This thing's going to bop us. It'll hit our diving suit. That's fine. We have to put on the diving suit before the barrier node. Unfortunate. I'm pretty sure that's how that works. So we're just going to start hitting this with the cane, I guess. So we're going to add our 2 stats just to do 1 damage. We're going to be doing this a fair bit, but there's not much else we have to do here. Again, there's 7 doom before we advance. So 8 to 2. I think it's only 2 fight. Yeah. -3. Got him. I mean, we could just play this. Whatever, it's here. I could imagine needing to play this on a different card, but it's like what it's in our deck for. So we'll just go ahead and take another horror and then pay 2 for this. So it says add your stats together. So it's basically the same thing as doing Arcane, except if this succeeds, we do 3 damage instead of 1. Zero. Cool. So 6 gets cut in half. Suddenfall's really good. The upgraded one. The other one requires you to use your foot stat. Or like, sorry, your fight stat. It's not very good. And we'll just do the cane one more time. 8 to 2. You can put on the node before you put on the diving suit. You cannot put it on before the diving suit. I'll read the interrupts because I'm not sure if the diving suit says if you put it on you or if you put it on your cards. -1. Do I have to show the bag before every stream? Like, do we have to do a sanity check? Because like, I don't know what's the skepticism when you watch someone on stream? Like I always shuffle all my decks before the stream, but I feel like I need to show what's in the bag. It's probably good, but I need to show the auto fails in there. Cause like, you don't know, it's an opaque bag. It's in there. We've been pulling really well today. We haven't failed a single test. Again, I don't know why I keep celebrating these sort of things. That's it. It's now the enemy phase. So the construct is going to come in. I'm just going to check the Medusa has text. I just don't think it matters because patrol doesn't work if it's exhausted. And it says when the enemy phase begins, if this enemy is ready. The Elder Sign's in there too. It's a resource, but we haven't drawn that equally. Now the construct is going to hit us. It's persistent. So it's going to attack us. It says when you defeat this, you do a thing. This engages us. It's not a deep one, so we don't have to do any text. It hits us for 1. Now the question is the diving suit. The diving suit says specifically when any amount of damage will be placed on you. You, I think, is our investigator card. So I think we're allowed to put this on the barrier node. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you, I think, means you, not you as in all your cards. I could be wrong. The only skepticism, are we sure we didn't mess up the bag? Yeah, that is actually worth doing a little check every game. This says we can put a damage on it, so we will. It doesn't get defeated. And then when our turn starts, we can heal this, which I'll definitely forget to do that. And then we'll do upkeep. You're correct. Thank you, Lucas. Rest to digitation. I spent 3 hours in the mirror, but it was worth it. I barely slept last night, but oh my god, was it worth it? Feels so good. We'll just get all this. Did we do our upkeep? Yes, we did. Good stuff. So this is a really interesting card. It says play an item asset from your hand. We have the M1903 hammerless and we can bounce the Thieves Kit back. It's like everything you want plus more. It does technically play 2 cards, so you have to spend 2 more resources or take 2 more horror, but that shouldn't be a big deal. 1 of 7. Oh, this thing's ready. Oh, that's bad. Oh no, it's busy. Oh no. Okay, so now we got problems. The Medusa's back. There are 3 of them in the deck. It's aloof and patrol, so it's just hard to deal with. We played our 2 breaking and enterings. When the enemy phase begins and Medusa's ready, it takes us 2 actions to interact with this, and that's gonna suck. So I don't care about this thing. We're basically going to want to deal with the Medusa. If the Medusa puts the flood level up 1, we technically have to inactivate the barrier node. We could have actually left by now, but 2 victory on this Leviathan is definitely worth doing. So I think we're going to be okay. Notably, it's also a monster. Not that it's engaged with us, but we don't have to fire Deep One Ambush, which only cares about that. Ta-da, well done. We're not leaving yet. We're not leaving just yet. Okay, so it's our turn. It is our turn. If we engage the Medusa, everything attacks us because engage is not one of the like 3.5 things you can do when enemies are on you without taking an attack of opportunity. So first we should probably just defeat the Leviathan. Heal node barrier? Shut up. You knew I was going to forget. You get that primed in the chat box. He's going to forget. You can type this in like 30 seconds ago and just like hit enter on a timer. But yeah, sorry. The barrier node heals at the beginning of the turn. Thank you. It's pretty nice tech, huh? Okay, so this thing we just want to evade. We can do 1 damage to it with the polished cane on the way out. Actually, no, we might as because yeah. There's no reason to do it with the Medusa. The Medusa, we're going to have to let the flood go up, I think. I don't think there's a way around it. We also can drag an enemy to the Abyssal Trench and evade it there. So we probably do that to, what's it called? To this thing. We're going to move it over there and empty that. And then even if this thing floods, we'll have 6 unflooded, which is exactly what we need. We'll have to deal with the Medusa next turn, which is fine. So first action, we're going to just attack the Leviathan. You know, the guy, the thing. We have no reason to go ahead and play our 1903 because it's not exhausted. So we're just going to hit this with Arcane. So again, we're doing 6 + 2. We're 8 to 2. -2. So we succeed by 2. So we do 1 damage. We get an action back. No cigarettes yet. That's been weird. Feels weird to not smoke. 3 more actions. We'll just do it again. 8 to 2. -1. Victory 2. Sick. Seems good. So we have 2 more actions. What we could do is we can engage and evade the Medusa and just decrease the flood level. I mean, I'm not super into that. I'd rather Olivia Bishop up to the Abyssal Trench and then evade it, which decreases the flood level, and then we're just in a safer spot. We could leave whenever we want at that point. We're going to have to deal with the Medusa next turn, and with Prestidigitation, it's still a bit awkward. We have to polish Cane twice. So we're going to just bring this thing to Abyssal Trench and leave it there. We can technically leave it there immediately and leave and just come back to the Medusa. I think that's probably fine. We would love a fast engage if we could find one, but it's not too big of a deal. So we're going to Olivier. And Olivier doesn't take an action, so we don't take an attack of opportunity. We're just going to pop up to this Abyssal Trench. And notably, this Abyssal Trench has text, which says after you evade or defeat something here, you can decrease its flood level once per round. And we haven't done that one. Notably, we also haven't done it here, but I'd rather go there because it has a clue. We could play it right under the noses. This thing has 3 Shroud. We have no other way to get clues, so I think we should. Unless we find a victory location, which there could be. If I had more information about this scenario, we might have played this sooner or later. So again, we did test, fast move. We will now polish Cane, and we'll just get a bit of damage in. So we're attacking 6 + 2, so 8 to 2. 0. It's fantastic. We'll exhaust the polish Cane to evade this thing and do 1 damage. Oh, we didn't evade it, so we can't technically do right under their noses. So we probably should have just evaded it. There's a victory location? Okay. Yeah, I realized we should have evaded it and not hit it with the Cane. Yeah, that's a mistake. I think we probably should just undo that. We would have passed the test anyways, like we're 6 to 2. We were just playing around the auto fail, but there's no reason to make it an 8 to 2 because for this to succeed, like the 1 damage probably doesn't matter, but we no longer evaded the thing, and so we can't play right under the noses. So if you're okay with it, I'm not going to use the polished Cane. I'm just going to do an evade. And that's because I should have thought about it, because now we can play right under their noses and just clear this location. So I'll play this. I'll take a horror. NLP2. And we evaded something, so we'll get the clue. And also we can do the text on Abyssal. Excuse me. Oh, wow. Arkham Police is coming. I mean, they're mean. They're really mean. I'm really scared of them. I just don't want to be on the wrong side. We'll remove this. So technically, we're at 7. Okay, as soon as we enter the next location, we'll go to a beautiful 7 Doom. Sorry, wow. We'll go to a 4 Skull. We have 1 more action. We should move, so this thing is not on us again. And I honestly think maybe we go to the left. This place will reflood a location, though. Is there only 1 location that has victory? Because if we enter this one, we have to increase its flood level when we can, but we have to increase another flood level, which means this will go up, which is fine, because if we evade something there, we can just decrease it immediately. So I think we do it, but it means the barrier core will be inactive for like 1 moment, and I think that's fine. So last action, we'll go to the top left corner, seafloor, and hope for the best. Skull is now going to be 4, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll increase this, and this, which means this goes to... It's not victory. There's 2 blasted ruins? Did I do this setup correct? Did I do this? Checks his notes. Yeah, 1 coral reef and 1 drowned acropolis. So we haven't found the coral reef yet. Okay. This is the blasted ruins. 2 shroud, 1 clue. After you end your turn of blasted ruins, increases flood level. Nailed it. The investigator blast a rune, spend 5 resources as a group, decrease the flow level of this location or adjacent location. That's also fine too. Yeah, it's the only one that's a quarrel. So it's unfortunately the last location we've gone to is the victory one. Not that we're good at getting clues. Okay, so Medusa now is going to fire text because our turn is over. And the Medusa says, when the enemy phase begins, if Medusa is ready, increase the flow level of its location. So it increases the flow level of this location, which this one, there's no good way to decrease the flow level besides spending clues, which means we have to flip it over because there's no longer more than 6 cards that are unflooded. Then this patrols to the nearest unflooded or partially flooded location, so it'll stay where it is. Oh, I thought it would move. Oh, we probably shouldn't have moved 2 away. I think I biffed it. I think we have time to fix it, but I think I biffed it significantly there. Okay, that's it. Card and credit. Watch this. If we want more money, this gives you money. It's what it does. This is the lower XP version. I'm not sure if the bigger XP version is in chapter 2 or not. I don't think it is. 2 of 7. We wouldn't mind an enemy, but instead we have Dreaming Migration. This one, I think, makes things move. Revelation. If there are no enemies in play, Dreaming Migration gains Surge. Otherwise, test 3 willpower, and if you fail, you must choose 1. The nearest enemy, which is the Persistent Construct, moves to your location and makes an immediate attack. That's totally acceptable. Otherwise, draw the topmost enemy in the counter discard pile, which is the Medusa. We don't want to do that. Now, you only choose 1. If we fail this, there's some downsides because Unaware will fire. Like, that's not good. Prove Your Worth will maybe lose a counter. That's not good. But if we actually let this fire, the thing up there slides over to us. Then we can fast travel down to Abyssal Trench and evade it. And when we evade it there, we get the flood level down. So, like, that's kind of cool. We have 2 clues as well. Like, we can just empty this location and leave this turn. But yeah, that Medusa really sucks. Now, the thing about the Medusa is we don't have to deal with it this turn because all it's going to do is fully flood the barrier core. And in theory, we don't care if the barrier core is fully flooded. Like, we probably don't care, actually. When the enemy phase begins, if Medusa's ready, increase the flood level's location. Yeah, that's fine. Like, half flooded or fully flooded, functionally the same. The only problem with this is, like, I'd be happy to fail this. But Unaware means if you fail a skill test, draw the top card in the counter deck. Like, getting Surge is not good. Now, the only way we can boost this is Easy Street. Easy Street, we're probably going to need to deal with the relic down here. Can you choose to voluntarily fail a test in this game? You still have to pull a token. And sometimes there's tokens that give you repercussions for pulling symbols. You can't choose to not do the test, so you just have to fail naturally. You just pull a token. If your stats are good, you have to use your good stats, so you can't choose to fail. So I think the answer to your question is actually very, very much no. You have to always pull. Okay. It's neat how you can watch this game and learn the rules by just watching. Like, you don't have to read a rule book. It's like, take 3 actions, compare your stats to other stats. The one thing is I'm not showing the stats constantly on screen, but they don't change. Just 2, 3, 2, 6 for us right now. Okay, 2 to 3 means we're going to fail. Easy Street means we're probably going to pass. Drawing another encounter card might not be that bad, but if it's an enemy, it's kind of bad because I won't have 2 enemies on us. Out the door can give you more resources for Easy Street. We're actually maxed. Oh, we're not maxed out. You're right. But we could do the 2. Yeah, you're totally right about that. I've realized that we're not above 9. I'm so used to Easy Street being on 9. But this gives us 3 wilds, which is 5 to 3. Technically, 3 is like a pretty big break point because there's 1 -3, and then there's 2 fish faces, which are -3s. The skull is technically a -4, so there's 3 -4s in the bag. So it's like not an easy task to pass anyways. I think we just rip this. I'm just going to rip it. Because even if we Easiest Street out the door, if we do both, we're actually relatively guaranteed. But I'm pretty sure we're going to need these for Ancient Gallery. We have 1 more Easy Street in our deck. We haven't drawn our cigarettes. We haven't drawn 2 lockpicks and a Thieves Kit. Man, honestly, the card we should be mulliganing for is cigarettes. Like, cigarettes is a card draw every turn. We've missed so much card draw. We've missed like 9 free card draw. Bummer. Hard choice. Generally hard choice. And it's mostly because of this thing. This little guy. This guy's getting us. You want to watch this? Oh no, but watch the spends resources. So it's like an anti-synergy with Easy Street. Oh, that's really funny. I think we're just going to fail this. I don't think this is worth passing. It's just Unaware. So 2 to 3. Elder Sign 1 time, -3. So we failed by 2. So this happens. We have to do Unaware. I'm not sure when Unaware is an interrupt or not. So the first time you fail a skill test during your turn, draw the top card in the counter deck. This card is no enemy. Like, I'm assuming we do the effect of this before we draw the top card in the counter card. But like, this is a timing that actually I don't fully understand. I'm just going to do it in the order that like makes some amount of sense, which is we resolve this first. So it says the nearest enemy moves to your location and makes an immediate attack. So construct engages us. It hits us for 1. We put it on the barrier node. Then we have to draw the top card of the deck. If it's an enemy, we'll discard unaware. Huh. You don't say. Okay, luckily I just checked. Unaware says the first time you can't get an infinite loop of dreaming migrations. But if we fail dreaming migration, all we do is we take a damage, which will go on our diving suit for the first time. That's acceptable. So 2 to 3, as much as prove your worth is getting hurt here. But it's the second dreaming migration. 2 to 3, we'll just fail it. 0, okay, well we fail it. We just take 1 damage. Because it just says the nearest enemy moves to your location. The nearest one's on us. We take 1 damage. We put it on our diving suit. Okay. Okay, 1 second. Okay. So this should go down. Oh no, we didn't fail by 2. Sick, we failed by 1. That's the best thing we could have asked for. This is potentially a brutal weakness. The game can be so mean. This is also a random weakness. And technically for random weaknesses, you have control of what goes into your deck. There is one deck weakness that's like attached to your character. We haven't seen it yet. It's called Weight of the World. This one is a random weakness, a random basic weakness. And a lot of people do random basic weaknesses in different ways. Like some people draw 3 and then they get rid of 1 and then randomly pick from the 2 that are left. There's some random basic weaknesses that interact not at all with your investigator, and some that are just like brutal. This one is like bad, but like we're pretty good at skill tests. It's like a fun one. I honestly don't mind it. Is it only during your turn? Oh, interesting. It is. That makes sense. That's why the timing doesn't matter. It says the first time you fail a skill test during your turn. Okay. All right. All right. We're just going to go ahead and put this thing back. Good catch. Yeah, that's why the timing might not matter, because you can't get it during a Mythos revelation. No, you still can if you just like draw a Mythos card. But yeah, it's only during your turn. Oh, wait, that's so much less bad. I thought this was going to be firing. I think we've been firing this during the Mythos phase consistently. Because like drawing a willpower test, we just fail those. Okay, that's awesome. That's really good to know. I got to read the card. Yeah, that's way less bad. That's like way, way, way less bad than I thought it'd be. Because like you can't control the Mythos test, but we control the test we take on our turn. Okay, I just shuffled that back in. We undid the damage. Our turn starts. The barrier node recovers. Nice try, Lucas. No, I really do appreciate it. Okay, so we can just spend 2 clues to empty this. This location has 2 shroud. We can take an action to investigate. The problem is with what? Yeah, with what? Because I want to get the clue off of the Blasted Ruins while we're here. This is the Sunken Circle. Because it's only 2 shroud. The issue is like, we're not getting clues because we don't have one of our 3 clue cards. If we play Prestidigitation, he's just so good at it. We add an item asset from our hand and then bounce one. So we'd have to like play the 1903. The 1903 is not noticeably better than a Polished Cane. So I honestly don't think we do. I'm like so concerned about using Easy Street, Lucas, that I want to keep Easy Street for like, we're going to go get this relic and it's going to be like test 19 book. And it's like, oh, we need this or we can't pass it. Especially because we put so much effort into it that I don't want to use Easy Street on this. In terms of the clues, we're definitely going to need clues. We can spend 2 clues fast here to empty it. We can move into here. We can evade the persistent construct here. I don't know if we want to kill the construct. I think we want to move the construct here and either kill it here or evade it here. Honestly, defeating it is maybe fine. It just takes us 1 action. But I could see us like spending 2 clues fast moving here, evade, gain an action, move, engage, evade. And that like does enough on our turn to feel okay with ourselves. You know what I mean? Like, I honestly think that probably feels good enough. Like, we don't get the clue here. It's not a victory location, but it means that we can deal with the Medusa, which is not super important. But if we evade here, we get a lower without taking a clue. So I think that's probably what we're going to do. So I'm just going to do what we're going to do. I'm going to spend 2 clues using the act, and I'm going to just unflood this location. That means this goes to 6, which means we can reactivate the barrier core. Pick up. All right, my beautiful grid has been sullied. Okay, then we'll use our friend Ollie to fast travel down here. And of course, this Abyssal Trench, like every Abyssal Trench, has really nice text where you want to be able to evade or defeat on it. Defeating is 2 actions, evading is 1 action. We could kill the first construct, but I don't think we will. So we're going to go ahead and just, we can polish cane it at this point because we have no reason to evade. So we're going to attack it with fight. So we're adding 5, 6, 7, 8. And here, like, we're just going to do watch this while we can, because watch this is a bit risky. We're going to spend 3 resources. Now, you don't play this card. Sorry, more actively, the text is, yeah, you don't play skill cards, you commit skill cards. So we don't actually have to do the extra, what's it called, ominous silence text. So we're going to spend 3. And if this succeeds by 1 or more, we get 6 resources. If not, we've lost our money. So again, we're 7 to 2. This is our first action. -1. So scary to draw the autofail on that. We gain 6 resources. We do 1 damage and evade the construct. Actually, let's not evade it. Oh, we shouldn't have polished cane that because we want to polish cane the Medusa. Why do we keep messing this up? Because the part of the polished cane that evades is not the, I think the evade is part of the, I think the damage is part of the exhaust, but it's not. We definitely shouldn't have polished cane this. We still would have been 7 to 2, which I'm good enough pulling without boosting. But one more time, we have to errata, we have to retcon to not use the polished cane here because we want to hit the Medusa for 1 damage. It's way more important. Also, sorry, this should have been here. So we're not going to do the damage one more time. This thing just keeps living. So excuse me on that. That was just meant to be a base evade test because we just need to evade this thing. I should have thought about it a bit more. I even said confidently we don't need this. We evaded on this thing so we can lower the shroud. So we're technically now at 7. Now this place is victory and this place is something we care about. But at the end of the day, victory only matters if we can get the clues, which we're not equipped to do that. Okay, we have another action back. So next action, we're going to pop into here. So we have 2 more actions. Third action, we're going to engage the Medusa. And then 4th action, we're going to finally use the polished cane properly. I'm so sorry. I'm very embarrassed. So now we're going to attack it 6 to 3. And if this succeeds, not only do we do damage, but we can evade the thing. And evading it matters because it will decrease the not increase the flood level more accurately. Elder Sign, finally. So we do succeed by 2 for sure. Our Elder Sign is just gain a resource, which like, yeah, sick, okay. +2 gain a resource, that's fine. And then we got to do the polished cane thing. So we can exhaust this to get the evade, which is good. And we can do a damage. So 1, and that's it. Okay, good turn. Actually, quite a good turn. We have not enough cards in our hand or not too many cards in hand. We just do upkeep. So this doesn't do any text because it's exhausted. All of its text, both patrol and its text cares about that. It does just ready. This readies and is ready for the hunt. We just upkeep. Please draw a lockpick. It's manual dexterity. I don't mind this art. This is a nice art. I actually think I might have liked this art better than the other one. I don't know who this character is. I don't think it's Winnie. It doesn't look like Winnie. 3 of 7. Okay. 1 encounter card. Okay. All right. So now they're stacking up. Now the first one is free. The first one you can defeat, but there's 3 of them in the deck. And of course, the more of them, the worse it is to defeat them. But now we definitely have a trail behind us of things. If we engage this thing as our first action, this thing will hit us. I think that's okay. We definitely want to use our polished cane on this thing to defeat it. So we won't use our polished cane on the persistent construct, which has always been the wrong thing to do, but that's fine. We need to find a moment to play prestidigitation just to reset our thieves kit. But every turn that we get deeper and deeper, again, there's 2 lockpicks and 1 thieves kit in here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 16. So 1 in 3 chance to draw the right card that we want. We'll see. Okay. So again, 4 action turns shouldn't be that hard. Man, Andre's good. Andre's really quite good. So first action, I guess we'll just evade this thing. We'll just do a base evade. We're doing 6 to 2 on the persistent construct. Nothing we have to commit to this. We could commit a manual dexterity just to draw. I don't think there's going to be a big evade test that we care about. So I'm just going to do a man dex to make it 8 to 2 just to keep drawing. Actually, we should do that with the polished cane because we have to succeed by 2. No, we always succeed by 2. Yeah, we always succeed by 2. Do we want to just cycle this to draw? I think we do. So manual dexterity puts us on 8 to 2. Excuse me? Yo, did my keyboard die? Oh, my keyboard died. Hold on. I don't know if it disconnected, but I was just typing it, so I think the battery died. Which seems super good. 8 to 2. -1, so we succeed by 2. We draw a card with manual dexterity. It's the lucky cigarette case. Now, it is an item, so we will prestidigitation that to bounce the thieves kit. This gets evaded. We get an action back. Polished cane, you cannot commit foot icons. Oh, true. It's a proper fight. Yeah, so that's good that we use it on that. Okay, so this is there. We got an action back. Second action, we'll engage the Medusa. Third action, we'll use the Polished Cane. And so we're going to fight. You're right. So it's 6-2. Sorry, it's 8-2 because we add our stats to it. And the Medusa is actually, is it 3? It's 8-3. So we have to succeed by 2 on this. So in theory, to play around the skull, we should boost 1. The thing is we have to boost 1 fight. I'll just play out the door. So at the door says gain 4. Again, you don't play cards, you can make cards. So we're at 5, 6, 7, 8. We're 9-3. We have to succeed by 2. -2, we're good. Second Medusa has been defeated. We'll exhaust the Polished Cane. Oh no, we don't exhaust the Polished Cane. We don't care about the exhaust. And we don't lose 4 resources. All right, we still got a couple more actions. We want to go to this place and empty it. Issue is that will increase the flood level of a location. It doesn't matter. We have 1 extra flood level. So we're going to Olivia Bishop here. We have to decide whether we want to go up or we want to go down. I think we're going to go up because we can always reflood this location and get it on the way down. Then, so we did evade, engage, evade, fast move. We can do 1 more move. We're at 7 cards in hand. So we'll go up here to the last location, which I've been told is made of coral. It is. It's one of the 2 coral reefs. This one is the feeding grounds. Scary. 3 clues, 4 shroud, victory 1. Yikes. After coral reef was revealed, discard cards from the top of the counter deck until an enemy is discarded as spawn at this location. That's where we chose to end our turn. After you discover 1 or more clues at coral location, spawn the set aside undersea parasite, victory 1. Yikes. Here we go. These are the ones that increase flood level. It's good to not draw those. Oh. Oh, hold on. We have to increase this flood level. So we're adding a Doom, I think. We found all 3 Medusas. And we said we would decrease. I guess we should decrease this flood level because we might go back down there. So we found a Medusa as our last card. So that goes there, which means the Medusa's text is going to be relevant. Oh, that's ugly. Okay, so the Medusa's text will now fire because it's now the enemy phase. So it says when the enemy phase begins, if Medusa is ready, increase the flood level of its location. It can't, so it adds a Doom. So we're technically at 5 of 7 next turn. So we should defeat this thing. Oh boy, we've bit off a bit more than we can chew. This construct, we can either move it this way or we can move it that way. They're equidistant. I'm going to go that way because we're likely to run this way. So I'll just put it up here. This construct just wakes up. Persistent little guy. The Medusa will now move, right? Yeah, it looks like everything's coming up, André. I wouldn't say that. So when the enemy phase begins, a Medusa is ready, increases flood level, and aloof nearest unflooded or partially flooded location. So this thing is going to move. So we should send it to this abyssal trench because if this fully floods, it doesn't change our math. I think we're at 6, right? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it has to go south. Oh God, this is hard. Why did we do this? Honestly, if this was a persistent construct, it'd be fine. The fact that it's a Medusa is like very much not fine. Now we don't have to deal with this turn because it's just going to increase the flood level of this location. And honestly, we don't care about that too much. But yeah, we got issues. Skull is still -4. That's it. Upkeep. Prestidigitation. Yeah, just so easy to say. 5 of 7 because there's 1 on that thing. Draw 1 card. We should really spread out. I don't think these need that much space. We might just do these digitally. I don't know. It might be better if these are digitally and then we can just use the whole table space and I can just like bring them down on the overlay. Counter card, I drew 2. Deadly Torrent. Okay, I think this has an evade test on it. Deadly Torrent. Revelation. If your location is unflooded, Deadly Torrent gains Surge. Technically, there's no fast window until you do the skill test, so you can't like draw this and then reduce the flood level with your 0 clues. Yeah, but there's just no window there. Test for agility to swim to safety. If you succeed, move to connecting location. We have to do that. If you fail, take 1 damage and 1 horror. That's not a problem. Test for fight to stand your ground. If you fail, take 1 damage and discard an asset you control that takes up 1 or more slots. Interesting. So we actually could choose to take the fight test. The problem is the fight test is more likely to fail prove your worth, which like there's some ramifications to that, of course. This would have been a better use of the manual dexterity. We are currently 6-4, which is like by far not guaranteed. But if we succeed, we have to move. We honestly wouldn't mind failing this because I think we want to be here for a moment. Our turn is like prestidigitation, lucky cigarettes. Is this only during your turn? Yeah, first sentence. Okay, so we can't get the cigarettes out for this test. But this is play an item asset from your hand, reducing its cost, and then we'll bounce the Thieves Kit. So it's going to be a 2-turn play. In fact, we should have played the prestidigitation at the end of last turn. Trusty surfboard. We 100% should have played the prestidigitation before we passed our turn. I don't know if I'm going to feel good doing that after we reveal the encounter card, but that means the Thieves Kit will be in our hand, and we would have the prestidigitation for the encounter phase. Now that we didn't play this, we're going to have to wait a whole nother turn to get the Thieves Kit. So if that's the case, I think we're just going to deal with this thing. Victory, we're going to need the Thieves Kit on this one. Yeah, we should have played that last turn. We should have thought of that a bit better. That's okay. All right, 6-4. Are we going to boost here? Easy Street is still for whatever this is, I'm pretty sure. We could throw the Hammerless at it to make it 7. That beats the -3s. There is 2 -3s in the bag, 3 -3s in the bag. I'm okay. I don't think we need this Hammerless. Actually, there's no way we need another Olivier. So we'll throw out Olivier. And so we're at 7-4. Deadly Torrent. Sorry, I hit the microphone. +1. Okay, so we have to move. If you succeed, move to connecting location. André doesn't fire. We have no cigarette case. God, we messed it up. So we will move here. This thing is aloof, but at least we can deal with it. Cool. I think all the horror we've taken, we've chosen to take, which is good fun. Okay, so I'm just going to do the prestidigitation. I'm going to pay 2 for it because our money has now gotten out of control. So we'll spend 2. We'll play this fast with no action. Play an item asset from your hand. So we're going to put the cigarette case down. And, well, that's that. We're going to bounce this back to our hand in a moment. So, sorry, we don't have a lot of table space. I guess we'll just slide over to the right. Lucky Cigarette Case is just a goated card. Now, we still have a weakness in the deck, but this will draw us into some other cards, let alone boost cards and stuff like that. It's funny that Asmodee Brazil translated the sleight of hand as prestidigitation, and it is a literal translation of prestidigitation, and now the card exists and they won't translate it anymore. Maybe because they just didn't have the word for it. They were like, we can't name it the same thing, and so they just gave up. That's probably not it. I'm sorry that there's no translations. That is really rubbish. But yeah, it's funny how sometimes they translate themselves into a corner with future design space. They have to come up with another word. Okay, first action. We're going to engage the Medusa. Classic pattern. Second action, we're going to attack the Medusa with our Polished Cane. It's a fight test. We're adding 5 + 1 + 2. So we're at 5, 6, 7, 8 to 2. We have to succeed by 2 for the evade, which we're not going to do. So we just have to succeed. So we're doing, again, 8 to 3. Excuse me, to 3. -1. So we get another action. We do 1 damage. So we did engage fight. One more time. 8 to 3. Elder Sign, how have we not pulled the bad thing yet? We gain a resource. This thing is dead. Not a bad turn. What's really expensive is playing Prestidigitation, because now you lose 2 cards from your hand. You're like, my hand went from like 6 to 4. You'll get a card back in a second. We can draw with a Lucky Cigarette Case. We could have done that on the first one. We'll just do it now. Okay, that's lockpicks. That's good. Okay. Funny enough, you can play Prestidigitation just to get the lockpicks down fast. We are going to be cornered by 2 constructs, but that's not that big of a deal. I do think we want to work on the Coral Reef. After you discover 1 or more clues at the Coral Reef, you can go get the thing if you want to. It's never forced, but you can go get the Undersea Parasite, which actually has those 5 dots. Oh, that's sick. That thing has the 5 or the 6 dots on it. And if I'm not mistaken, our barrier node cares for those dots. Now, yeah, so that's important. Now, I think the one icon that we definitely biffed, if we look at our glyphs, we can tell which one that is, and then we can use that information to figure out which ones we don't want to get. So I think the glyph that we biffed, the biff glyph is the one to the left of Parasite. So the one that kind of looks like a, I don't know, like a hook, kind of like a treble clef sideways. That's the one that we biffed, the biff glyph. And so that means that we can actually translate barrier node. That's sick. The one with the kind of Z with the line through it, the Zorro thing next to City, that's at the Ancient Gallery below us. So we can actually get that. You get some lucky pulls. I'm out here pulling the autofail like 50 out of 50. We drew the autofail a fair bit, especially at bad times last stream. So maybe it's because the bag didn't expect us to play on a Monday. I played other languages as well. As far as I know, there were a lot of inconsistency in translation during chapter 1. Hey, I'm not sure I'm going to say that right. Jube, how's it going? Welcome to the channel. What language did you play in? And was the inconsistency, like, I've heard rules inconsistency showed up as opposed to like name inconsistencies. Like, yeah, sometimes rules just get translated poorly. Wouldn't the E aid also lower flood in case? Sorry, Christopher? I'm not sure what that's meant to be. Also lower the flood level in case. Okay, so we've done engage, fight. We have one more action. And at the end of the turn, the Thieves' Kit enters back into our hand. We can all alleviate down here into the Ancient Gallery just to deal with it. The problem is we probably want to deal with this sooner than later. We can bounce the barrier note to our hand. It's not permanent. You can. That's weird. We can bounce the diving suit to our hand. Wait, that's the cool thing with prestidigitation is you can bounce any item asset. So if the diving suit is on 1 health, you can just be like, nah. And you take it off for a second, put it back on, it's new. Okay. So I think we have to pop up to the Coral Reef really quickly. Because we're going to get pinned by these two things. And then we'll come down to the Ancient Gallery last. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we're still good. How do we get the clue, though? Prestidigitation requires us to bounce something back. Like, we could bounce the cigarette case. That's a bit ugly. But it says, when your turn ends, return an item master you control. It's not optional. But being able to play this clicklessly would be a lot better. Portuguese, some traits were translated with 2 words. Fortune became fortuna and sorte. That's wild. Why? For context? Okay, I think we're going to alleviate up here. I don't know if we can bounce barrier node, but I want a prestidigitation to lockpicks to use it. Actually, maybe we do the Thieves' Kit next turn? Thieves' Kit was another good use of the manual dexterity because it brings us to 8 to 4, but this is High Shroud. So I think we have to use lockpicks. So I think we're going to do a really ugly prestidigitation. So I'm going to spend this and I'm going to pay 2 resources because it costs 1 more because of our ominous silence. So I'm going to play this fast. I don't know what to do with this. Play an item asset from your hand. So our hand slots are full. Oh, that's a bit ugly. So I'm just going to play it on top of this Thieves' Kit. It's our lockpicks. And then we're going to bounce the lucky cigarette case. I mean, I don't know what else to do here. So this thing has 3 counters on it. You can exhaust it and then add your stats together. This is only once per turn. We definitely want to get 3 clues off of this. So we might have to get lucky. I don't think there's any card we can draw that just gets a free clue, but I'm not sure what to do about that. We were over hand slots. I don't think we should get rid of the polished cane. Actually, maybe at this point we can get rid of the polished cane and bounce the Thieves' Kit. No, it's a bit extra. Actually, wait, this turn is maybe scuffed. We have to decide whether we want to get victory, which requires us to get 3 clues. That's really hard. Like the lockpicks exhausts itself. So to get that, we're going to need to be here for 2 turns, but we also have to end our turn at barrier core. So it might make sense just to go to Ancient Gallery and give up on the victory. Oh, but this thing also has victory and the ability to get an insect. But like we're going to be on 5 of 7, and then we have to do like move into here and end our turn. That shouldn't be that hard. But I just don't know if we need the polished cane because we're at the point where we probably just don't fight anything. We just like evade everything and leave. Because there's 1 more construct and there's like 1 more voltaic eel and then there's 1 more deep 1 thrall. And I think that's it. So like the Thieves' Kit bouncing into our hand might be a bit more relevant because we could play it and then hopefully get some clues at 6 to 4. I don't know. That's actually a hard choice. Hard choice. Yeah, I think I can get rid of the cane. So instead, we're going to install the lockpicks. I'm still going to stay here, though. I just don't know if the Squamish Parasite is if it's something we shouldn't get last. Oh, don't look at it. Don't look at it. Why did I pull it up? I wrote the name. Just don't look at it. I just looked up the name. I can't see what the text is, but on Coral Reef, it specifically says feeding grounds. Yeah, it says you can choose to after you discover 1 more clues. Get the undersea parasite ending at the location. I don't know if it's aloof or not. If I played this before, I would have known. You can help me if you know, but like, we could get it next turn. It shouldn't be a problem. We're going to get another clue, so we shouldn't sweat it. Last action, we'll use our lockpicks. Look at it. So we're going to do 5, 6, 7, 8 to 4. We have to succeed by 2 or more, or we break a lockpick. That's fine. We got 3 lockpicks. Why did you discard Polished Cane? Because when we played Prestidigitation, to play their lockpicks, we were full on our hands. And so it was either discard the Thieves' Kit or discard the Polished Cane. I can't tell. I think there's a chance that we should play bounce the Thieves' Kit with Prestidigitation. Wait, we have to bounce 2 cards. So we have to bounce the Thieves' Kit in a lucky cigarette case. And then I'm thinking we replay the Thieves' Kit, get the last clues. Because next turn, we do lockpicks this turn, we do lockpicks next turn, and we still have to figure out how to get the last clue. Maybe the answer is just Easy Street. And then we should just keep the cane for like safety. But all that the cane does is allows us to like boost our stat by a bit, which I don't think is important. There's a chance that playing this lockpicks will be important. Because again, we have 3 clues and this thing exhausts itself. I don't know. Maybe it's scuffed. But yeah, it's just because we ran out of hand slots. I've never played 2 prestidigitations in the same turn. It's a bit ugly. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's 9 to 4, excuse me. -1. So we succeed. We get a clue. Do we spawn the Squamish thing? Is that what it's called? Is this the Squamish one? Squamish? No, this is the undersea parasite. Do we spawn the undersea parasite? I pulled up the Squamish parasite, right? So that's not even the right one. So it might be aloof. If it hits us, it just hits our barrier node. I think we should just spawn this now. It means we have a full turn to deal with it. No aloof? Oh, that's scary. Okay, I won't spawn it. If you say so, I won't spawn it. We'll pass. I don't think it's a deep one. It's a parasite. Okay, so now we have to remember the text of prestidigitation, which just says we have to return 2 items. So I'm going to bounce Thieves Kit and I'm going to bounce this. Kind of ugly. It might be right to bounce the diving suit, I'll be honest. I could see it being correct to bounce the diving suit. But at least we have more icons in the hand. That's it. These constructs hunt. I think we actually can just put them together. Splitting them apart is not bad either. We've already evaded here, but if we want to go down here, I just don't think we have time to go down here, which means we won't translate the barrier node. Why did we do this? Oh no, the barrier node needs this one. Okay, we're committing to the barrier node. As a way to give some protection to Rogue. 1 second. Do you realize it said an item until now? Oh, what did you think it said? The item? Right? It kind of makes sense, Spooky, that it says an item, but it's any item. So you can refill things. Like, it's super, super useful. It's a really, really cool card. Translation of exhaust has 2 different wordings. One is like tap. One is like the literary meaning of exhaust, which is like tired. Yeah. The thing is, like, I don't know. For these sort of things, generally your translation team should have an understanding of the medium they're working in. It seems like it's not always the case. Like, context matters. They can't always get someone who plays Arkham to translate. It's usually a translation company. Okay, that's that. We do upkeep, card and credit. We drew Know the Scene. That's a good one. This is for investigation or parlay. Excuse me, that's not the one. This is exactly the one that we wanted to draw here, because there's going to be 1 clue left over on a 4-shroud location behind our victory, so we can get that clue with the lockpicks and the Know the Scene. That's a really well-timed draw. 5 of 7. Mind you, we have to end the round here to advance, and we could draw an encounter card that just adds a flood token. All right, that's fine. We can tank this thing before the game is over. It just hits for 1. That honestly doesn't matter. So that's a persistent construct. Okay, so now we have to plan our turn out perfectly. So we have 2 turns. We want to get the Squamous parasite. Sorry, the undersea parasite, whatever it's called. We want to get the undersea parasite. We want to deal with the undersea parasite. Hopefully it's not a lot. Actually, wow, the fact that we threw out Arcane is really bad because the undersea parasite probably needs to get hurt. Might regret that immediately. I think we can easily start here by investigating. I don't care about this 1 hit. Like, if the parasite just sucks to deal with, we'll leave with it on us. Because we can do 1 test, move, leave. So I'm going to start by actually using our lockpicks, which means the construct hits us, it'll hit our barrier node. Damage doesn't matter when we're 1 turn away. And we're just going to use our lockpicks here. So we're adding our stats. We are currently 6 + 3, so 9 to 4. If we don't succeed by 2, it's not the end of the world. I always play to the same item. That's crazy good. It's wild good. It's such a good card. -2, so we succeed by 2. So a bunch of things happen. Firstly, we get an action back. That's good. We get a clue. Also good. We can empty that flood location, which is totally fine. And we can now do the text on it. So the Coral Reef says we can choose to spawn the set of seed undersea parasite. I mean, yeah, sure. Undersea parasite. Aloof, retaliate. It is aloof. After undersea parasite attacks you, flip this card, resolve its text. After undersea parasite would leave play. Oh, why did we throw at the cane? We need to do 1 damage to this thing. It's also aloof. Wait, that ruins everything. When it attacks you, flip this card and resolve its text. Like, that could be good, but also I don't want to be attacked by the unknown parasite. I'm imagining that will also be bad. Maybe it'll translate itself, but I don't want to be attacked by by this thing. Don't take too much damage because of the diving suit. It won't matter. The diving suit is going to leave. Yeah, it's 5. 5, 1, 5. If we had any way to do incidental damage, this would be okay. We have no way to use our agility stat to do a damage here. The best we could do is boost our fight to go to 6 to 5. We could do Know the Scene to do 7 to 5. But yeah, I don't know why we got rid of the cane. That was a mistake. That was bad. I should have remembered there's a parasite here. 5-1-5. Would leave play. So that is defeated or technically discarded, but obviously we don't have a way to do that. Okay. So we can get the victory. If we don't deal with this thing, we cannot translate the barrier node, which gives us +2 more health, which for any scenario that doesn't require the diving suit, this is really good because this is infinite soak. Arguably maybe too much soak, but we have no healing in rogue. So anything that just says like heal seems pretty good for us. Okay. We have 3 more actions and a free move. So we once again can just tank and evade with know the scene. We can do 3, 4, 5, 6 to 4. We could do 7 to 4. That beats most things. Engage the parasite, make it attack you. I'm really scared about that. I don't know what that's. It can't be good when the parasite attacks you. There is no good ending where the parasite attacks you. It's like, oh, that was fantastic. Maybe we learn something, but also maybe we get a weakness. There's no weakness to set aside. So like, it's like now role playing. Does André Patel get hit by the parasite? I don't care about the damage. I just care about the consequences of the parasite. I think we're going to get hit by the parasite. I think our curiosity is going to get the better of us on this one. Okay, we need to get the last clue, and we're going to try hard on it. Unfortunately, our book stat is just 3. So we want to do something good here. I think we're going to have to do Easy Street and know the scene, and we're not going to get this relic. We just don't have time. We've done pretty well. We could have left a long time ago. We did all this for 3 more victory, and I'm feeling pretty okay about it. So we're going to do second action. We're going to investigate. We're going to do know the scene. So this gives us +3 because it's investigation. So we're at 3, 4, 5, 6. And we'll do Easy Street. I don't know if we have to do both of these. We might. And this gives us +4. So this puts us at 10 to 4. It's a bit overkill, but there's no midpoint. Hold on. There maybe is a midpoint. Maybe the midpoint is 6, 7 to 4. There are 3 -4s in the bag. I think the bag is about 16 tokens. So this only puts us a 75% chance of success. As soon as we replace know the scene with this, we're better. Because Easy Street plus Thieves Kit is now 5 more. So we're 8 to 4. That's better. Yeah, we'll do 8 to 4. So Easy Street, we have enough resources. Zero. Okay, nailed it. So we get the last clue. We have successfully unlocked the victory there. Oh, fine. Mind you, sorry, we were meant to get hit first. Before you do the test, you get hit by this thing, which does 1 to our diving suit. Totally acceptable. Okay. You ready? Third action will engage. Oh, it's going to be bad. Fast action will alleviate bishop away from all the other constructs, which I would describe as being persistent. Before we do that, I think we will use 2 clues here quickly, just to lower the shroud of this location fully, so that if we draw an encounter card, we have a bit more leeway and we're not stuck in a bad spot. So we'll spend those clues here. Then we'll fast move to this abyssal trench. We have 1 more action. If we move here, we can leave. I think we have to consider doing that. We're going to take 1 damage, 2 damage, then 3 damage, 4 damage, 5 damage, 6 damage. So we'll take 6 damage. We have 8 damage. And we have Olivier Bishop. So we can spend our last action to move into here and then just choose to end the game. Construct attacks again. Engage causes attack of opportunity. Yes. Yeah, you're right. Diving suit's on 1. Thank you. Yeah, huge. The move wasn't, but the engage was, yeah. So if we move into here, these 2 hit us. So we find out something. We break the diving suit. We can do 1 to Olivier. Then when we end our turn there, they all hit us again. And then those hit us. So we take 4 more. Then at the end of the round, we can leave. I think that's what we do. I think we just get really low in health, which doesn't matter. But at the end of the round, we'll be able to leave at the barrier core. Again, in terms of unflooded, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, more than enough. I think we're going to do it. Last action, we're going to move. So we're going to get hit by the parasite here. So this thing is going to do, let's do the parasite to do 1 damage to our diving suit. It breaks the diving suit. And then we'll read the text on the parasite. I'm hoping for the best here. This says, after undersea parasite attacks you, flip this card over and resolve its text. If this card flipped because undersea parasite attacked you, read the following. The creature bite burns like fire. Before it can react, it has vanished into a maze of coral. Flip this card and move it to a connecting location with no investigators available. I guess we're not translating the barrier. All right, that wasn't good. I don't know why we're surprised. In theory, we can put it here, and maybe there's 1 card we can top deck that can deal with this. but it's here, and we have to take a damage. This thing hits us for 1, we'll put it on Ollie, and we'll end up here. Because technically it attacked us first, now it engages us again. And that's our turn. There's a chance we die to the Mythos phase here. There's a chance we die to the Mythos phase, because anything that does 2 damage is going to get us. So the big thing is whether or not... Oh, also if we draw an enemy. If an enemy hits us for 2 damage, because we have, what's it called? We have Deep One Ambush, that also could get us. So for us to be able to knock out the under... Oh, wait, no, it's aloof. 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 That's worse. That's much worse. Because we're going to have to engage it. Yeah, I think we have to resign. I think we're going to have to resign here. We should have kept... Oh my god, I don't know why we didn't keep the cane. That was really, really silly. We got lucky. Like, we didn't even end up playing our, what's it called? Our block picks. I guess we threw it, and it kind of helped us on a boost. We did succeed anyways, but the cane would have been pretty clutch. Regardless, there's no more decisions to make. We can see what card we draw off the mandatory draw before we make any decisions, but the whole gang's here. And they are described consistently as persistent. We take 3 more damage. We'll take 3 to the face. All right, we still have 4 health. Like, it's not the worst. And the barrier node will fill. So now we do upkeep. You're thinking what I'm thinking? We drew a weapon. Oh, man. I don't think we leave. We can... Okay, the problem is we can't play the gun. Playing the gun and engaging is 2 actions. That's way too much. This is our last turn, right? Like, I'm just going to put this here. In theory, we probably resign before we draw the next encounter card. But we have 1 turn to not die. We can play the gun, take 3 damage, engage the thing, take 3 damage, shoot the thing. And then we still have to survive the enemy phase, which is like super, super unlikely. If we evade one of them, we have no multi-AoE evades. If we evade one of them, we get an action back, so that's free. We might as well do that. We play the gun, we take 2. We engage, we take 2. We shoot it, and if we don't succeed, we die. I think we have to leave. I think we have to resign now. I think we do. I don't think there's any way around it. Let alone if we draw an encounter card that does damage, we're in a bad spot. We need another prestidigitation. Yeah, we need to play the 1903. I think we just mismanaged our arcane. And I realized, like, there's nothing else we're going to fight, but yeah, of course, we're going to fight the parasite. I think we leave. I think we resign. We'll see what encounter card we would have drawn, but I'm going to commit to resign here. I don't think that there's another way for us to get through this. I just want to double check before we send it in. Know the scene gives us +2 to 3 to an evader parlay. That doesn't matter. We could just engage it, take 3. So we're down to 2 health. We could just do like a wild fight test, but we're 2. If we top decked an easy street, we had a chance because we could have done +5. But yeah, we didn't top deck the last easy street. If we top decked the last easy street, we might have gone for it, but we didn't. And there's just no way for us to best 5. So I think we resign. Bummer. Okay, we're out. I don't think we can feel bad about that. We did pretty good. We could have done better. That's always the case. And that makes me want to play better, which is quite nice. Or play more. The sphere. If an investigator controls the barrier node, the strange orb sends a ripple of energy throughout the orrery and the surrounding dome. By pulling the node free, you have stolen the only thing powering the dome. A tremor shakes the structure as the energy field up above begins to dissipate. Resolution 1. This is the encounter card we would have drawn. It says, if there are no monster enemies in play, otherwise the nearest monster enemy attacks you. I mean, this wouldn't have been a problem, but this would have been done 1 more damage and we're likely to fail it. We also passed our task, which is worth celebrating. So let's read our result here. So this button, grab the mouse, scroll down a bit. I'm going to read this on paper though, so give me 1 second. We go to resolution 1. Okay. Again, let me know if you want to see this on the screen or whether you want to just me to read it and you can listen. The strange node pulses in your hand, projecting a soft bubble of light that repels the falling debris. You make it to the entrance as the dome bursts like a bubble. The expedition looks on in a mixture of awe and fear as a torrent of seawater reclaims the alien structure. A small prick of pain shoots through your palm, and you look down to see the node bury itself in your palm, sending spidery black hairs radiating out under your skin. They retract painlessly when you pull the node away. Tillinghast will certainly be pleased with this find. So in the artifacts earned, we add the barrier node to our campaign log. So it's now an artifact we can start with at the beginning of every scenario. And so if the scenario doesn't involve water, I'm pretty sure we're going to take this by default. And that's what we think we're going to be translating a lot of glyphs, in which we'll take the ancient tablet thing. Resolution 3. The energy field protecting the tunnel back to the city continues to hold strong. The jagged foundations of Relia continue to break off in pieces as the city rises. It's time to move on. In your campaign log, cross out the drowned quarter on the Relia map. Each investigator earns experience equal to the victory X. And then if we're headed west, we're off to the apiary. That's where they keep the apes. Victory, we have, we have victory 2 on the Seafloor Leviathan, victory 1 on Coral Reef. That's the best we got. I'm pretty sure if we translated this, in fact, we translated no glyphs, this would have been a victory. And I think the thing attached here is a victory. So we could have got 5. Instead, we got 3. I mean, there's cards we'll spend 3 on. In fact, let's do that right now, but not too bad of an ending. I feel okay with that, especially because we actually could have left like immediately. I'm glad we stayed for 3 more victory. As much as we didn't translate any glyphs, and that means the barrier node will be doomed. Again, very importantly, each of these glyphs only shows up once. And if you miss one of them, like that's it. I don't know what the logic is, like where the 5 glyphs for this are. Technically, you can map it out. I don't know the map because obviously I don't know what half of these mean. That's kind of the intention. But yeah, we also passed our task and that's worth something. It didn't ask if we checked our task progress, did it? Wait, where does it ask if you've completed your task? Yeah, wait, it doesn't ask if we completed our task. Is that just something you're meant to do anyways? But it didn't ask about task progress. I thought it asks. Are we just meant to know that? Oh, it says on the card. It says when the game ends if there are 1 or more chances. Yeah, okay, it says on the card, so that's fine. Okay, give me 1 second. We have 3 XP. I think we're going to spend all of it. Again, we only can play the rogue card, so there's not that many choices. Let's just quickly look at what they are. Good enough. Crovax. That's what we're aiming for here. Good enough. All right, so 3 XP. We can already play some permanents. So if we want to play a Charisma or a Relic Hunter, we can. I think that's okay. In terms of the things that we can play, though, we have Sticky Fingers. We have 1 in our deck. We haven't been playing it consistently. You notice our money's actually pretty good as well. So I don't think we're going to play this, but it's not a bad card, especially because it's fast now, which means you save action to play it, which means it's sooner an econ card. Another day, another dollar is just a very good card. Permanent cards are really quite good. Keep that in mind. They just start and play. They always do their thing. So that's good. Relic Hunter for 2 cigarettes. I don't know if I'm going to do that right away because I don't know. It's like if we find 1 cigarettes, we're more likely to find the next cigarettes. I think we're going to do that eventually, but that feels a fair bit more like luxurious than like necessary. And I think I know what card we want to spend the experience on. I do think that's worth keeping in mind because I don't think I've ever played double cigarettes. We're not going to do Grapevine or Silver Tongue. I think this is the card that I would consider because this is going to help us a heck of a lot. We say that our deck only works when we get down like our lock picks or something like this. And well-connected kind of allows you to get way more flexibility. Well-connected is also way more important for us because we have Prove Your Worth and all other cards that like punish us for failing. And this just says Exhausted. You get +1 skill for each 4 resources. And then you can spend 2 resources to ready this. Right at this point, we have 14 resources. That's a bit results oriented, but we would have got +3 to test. It costs 2, which is not that expensive. And we can also refill this to do it again. So we can get +3 and then +2. That's probably good. Like we just have enough money now. We've upgraded every econ skill we can. I don't think there's an upgraded watch this. The other card you could maybe play is Contingency, but I like assets a bit more than skills, at least cards that are that impactful. We also could save our experience for like the Black Fan, but we don't have 20 resources consistently. So maybe we do the Red Clock. My guess it's between the new Raider of the Noses is not bad either, but I think we'd probably just do Well Connected as one of. Question is what card do we take out of our deck? So let's spend 3 XP on this. Unless we can find a better direction to go in. This is our deck. So we have to take a card out of our deck. What is our least favorite card? It's honestly probably Silver Tongue. We have played it 0 times. And now that we have a better way to spend money, we're not going to spend it on Silver Tongue. So unfortunately, Silver Tongue is going to come out. There's a chance the other Silver Tongue will go in, but that's an easy swap. So now we have another way to weaponize our money for the sake. Well Connected would have helped with fighting the parasite. Yeah, exactly. It's like a very flexible card. And when you're solo, any card that gives you flex is like super, super valuable because it just says there's so many board states where you alone can now get out of a situation. And I find that very valuable. We failed so few skill tests. We drew the autofail no times. We drew the Elder Sign twice. Like we got so lucky on that. And like the first 6 or 7 turns where we just cleared everything was perfect. And then things kind of fell apart. I do think we could have made a bit better play lines at the end, especially with like keeping our Cane for the parasite. That's on me. We're going to pay with that with the barrier node, but Otherwise, pretty good. I think we're doing good. We're trucking along. We're definitely trucking along. It's nearly tomorrow, so thanks so much for hanging out again. We did stream on a Monday night. This wasn't in the plan, but our Arkham group had to cancel tonight, so it's nice to join in. It's very likely we'll still be back on Wednesdays, so let me know if I'm putting out too much content. Honestly, if you're trying to keep up with the campaign and you can't, because they're 2 a week, do let me know. We'll just try and figure out what makes sense, but I do want to keep going through the campaign so we can get to the end of the campaign, so we can do another campaign, because there's so much more to explore when it comes to this card pool. And the fact that we're stuck with just rogue cards, like, oh, I want to play other cards as well. So we'll get to that. Otherwise, that's mostly it. We'll hopefully be back on Wednesday. If you like content like this, firstly, if you're new to this channel, and I've seen the stats recently, a lot of people are finding this channel. If you haven't subscribed, you want to consider subscribing to the channel. You'll know when we go live and you'll get the notifications. Let alone, it really helps the channel grow, which is something I'm super happy to be able to do. On that note, also, if you want to take a second just to leave a like on the video, if you want to leave a comment as well, but just a like is like super simple. And it also helps this channel grow immensely and spreads in the algorithm. It's like the easiest way to say thanks. It just takes a second. On that note too, if you like the sort of content and you want to share it with someone you think would like it, that's also a fantastic way. At this point, we're just trying to grow the channel and have fun. So first time catching this live, thanks for the stream. Hey, thanks so much for dropping in, let alone hanging out in chat. It's like kind of the best thing. So thanks so much for being part of it. That's mostly it. Our adventure continues. André Patel will return hopefully Wednesday night, and we're going to go to the AP area. It's a really interesting scenario. We're going to need a lot of board states, so we'll figure out how far we can zoom back. Good night, André. Hey, Lucas, thanks so much for hanging out. We'll catch y'all in the next one. Take care. Have a good 2 days. Maybe we'll be back in 2 days. Take care, y'all.